she's on a date and she asks him where he's from. And I guess the whole prologue was him explaining that, which his roommate's like, you can't keep doing that. And he's like, well, I'm trying to be honest. And I'm like, that makes more sense if maybe it's date number 7. And you're like, now I can
Right.
finally tell you I'm from Eternia.
First date conversation, absolutely not. The fact that that woman sat there through all of that honestly just goes to show what women are going through in the dating pool. Okay.
Yeah.
They will sit through a story and finally be like, okay, I think this is a safe time for me to leave.
I mean, he has a job. He looks good. So what if he thinks he's from a fictional kingdom? Welcome to Not My Fantasy, the podcast where we talk about fantasy films and the lore that inspired them. I'm Cullen.
And I'm Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah, I'm Hannah.
Yeah.
Cullen.
Cullen. Yeah.
And let's introduce our guest. How is that gonna work?
T-La.
You want to be Tila?
T-Lore.
Ooh.
T-Lore. Skeletor. Teletor. I mean, I have the... Yeah.
Skeletor did remind me of you a little bit.
He did, yeah. Especially played by Jared. How do you say that kid's last name?
No, you don't want to compare yourself to him.
No,
I don't like him, but
Jared
No.
Leto,
I like Skeletor.
right?
Yeah.
Jared Leto? Yeah, I
Yeah.
just know I don't like his movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is we're here with T of Obscure Obsessions / our Boston University graduate program
/ your very first guest on this show, way back when we did the Black Cauldron. Also about a guy with a skeleton face.
The 80s loved a guy in a skeleton face in a crumbling castle.
It.
Yeah.
Right.
Is Skeletor then the child of the doomed relationship between Maleficent and the Horned King?
That would be a rather sordid affair.
And he has all this insecurity because he didn't get horns in the genetic lottery. Skull face, no horns.
It happens to some of us.
It does. So we're talking about the newly released 2026 He-Man Master of the Universe from Amazon MGM Studios. Welcome to the apocalypse.
And
forgot.
Mattel.
And Mattel, of course, because Mattel owns the He-Man property.
Yes.
But I forgot that Amazon bought MGM.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God damn it.
The Prime truck hitting the monster at one point.
Listen, I can't even talk about all the product placement. It's going to make me gag.
Yeah.
It was not subtle at all.
Now, do any of us have a history with He-Man?
No.
Prior
to this, I never saw the cartoons. I never saw the movie. I always thought it had something to do with Conan the Barbarian. And I would imagine it's not just like a ripoff of it. And this is weird because this is sort of something that you would think I would watch. Because
honestly,
it's kind of the thing that I would be into, but no, never. Apart from that She-Ra thing, the one that's behind Hannah, I think I saw some episodes of that, but I didn't know it had anything to do with He-Man.
Yeah, I think I'd seen the cartoon maybe in passing, but I'd never like sat down and watched it. I think I said this on the podcast before, but when I hear He-Man, my brain has to think really, really hard and discern it from the Thundercats, which I did watch when I was a kid. I feel like they give the same energy, and I think they're the same era.
What was Thundercats? They turned to cats?
No,
they're like cat people.
They're half human, half cat people.
All right.
It's pretty sick, honestly. But yeah, I had seen a little bit of She-Ra. I like She-Ra. That's fun. But yeah, I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, I didn't really grow up with this.
You mean you didn't watch this in your homeschool program?
In my homeschool program. And I don't think like my dad liked Conan the Barbarian. He almost wanted to name my brother. Well, he wanted to name my brother Conan. And my mom was like, no. He also
I don't
wanted,
want him to become a comedy writer. That's what she said.
yeah. I mean, my brother wanted to
Another
name
ginger
me
comedy writer
too many,
named
too
It's
Conan.
many.
one too much.
One too
Yeah.
many.
And then my brother wanted to name me Kmart. Uh,
Kmart,
yes. I mean, he was 4, so,
but I
Kmart
love that.
Callahan.
Kmart Callahan. I
It's
would be
Sounds
the
good.
great.
last Kmart standing.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh,
in the US,
in the
because
US.
they still have them in Australia.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Um, but
not fun.
I had a McBurger.
Dare you? That was fun. Sorry, Cullen, please continue. Our
Go
guest
ahead,
was being
Kellen.
so rude.
We're fighting.
I had a Burger King toy of from He-Man of Panther was his name. He was like a purple panther, and he came with some kind of
Okay.
missile launch that we lost.
Okay.
But you could move his arm to do this, and we loved doing that. Like make him
I
greet
think I had a
people.
sword. I think I had a He-Man sword one time that would say
Yeah.
his whole like, what is his phrase?
I have the
Yeah,
power.
that one. But I think
Um,
mine was from the 2000s cartoon. There was a
Yes.
2000s cartoon at
We'll
some
talk
point,
about
but
that. Yeah.
apart from that, yeah.
Yeah,
Who?
and Thor, that Skeletor's version of the green tiger that He-Man
oh.
has.
Oh,
Yeah. I knew about He-Man from like cultural osmosis. I knew there was Grayskull. I knew there was Skeletor. I knew there
Yes.
was the power. I have the power. I knew he was a gay icon, and so was
Hmm.
hmm.
Skeletor, and they were in
That
a lot of
song,
memes.
that
Which
Oh
song,
yeah.
which song?
um, by what is it? Four Non Blondes. Yep.
Yeah. Wait, is that
Um,
about He-Man?
it's not about He-Man, but that the meme of that song.
No one knows what you're talking about, Hannah.
What
We
that
have no idea
you
what you're talking
watched
about.
this movie, you heard them play
I
that
heard
song,
them
and you
play
think
it. I heard them
that's the
play it.
meme. It's a meme that uses the cartoon to that song. It's like a music video that was made many years ago now, like on YouTube.
I love
Um,
those. Yeah.
so yeah, that song, so that's a meme, that's a reference. And
Uh,
also I saw when I was watching this, so I saw it literally this morning at 9 a.m. Um,
wow.
they played Street Fighter, the Street Fighter trailer, and
Yeah.
that song was also in that trailer, and I was like, they did that on purpose.
Mm.
Anyway,
This film was announced in 2009, the same year Glee came on the air, by Sony Pictures Entertainment with Escape Artists producing. Following writing, director, and casting changes, the rights were sent to Netflix in 2022 and then bought by Amazon MGM Studios in 2024. Principal photography occurred in London, England, June 2025. So happy Pride
yeah,
Month.
yeah.
I think this movie will continue to be a gay icon.
Yes.
Um,
Oh my God, yeah.
there's so much to unpack. So many packages, and that's what Pride Month
So
is all about
it's
for some
really all
people.
about, yeah.
Lots of packages. Uh,
And you know what? That's what Amazon's about too. So,
wow. If companies still did Pride promotions, they could have done that, but
oh my
corporations don't do
gosh.
that anymore. Um,
No.
so see ya in the camps. All right, so this movie is directed by Travis Knight, screenplay by Chris Butler, Aaron Nee, Adam Nee, David Callaghan. That's like my evil twin. Story by Aaron Nee, Adam Nee, Alex Litzbach, and Michael Finch, based
That's a
on
lot
Matt.
of people.
Wow, I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Based on how this movie goes. Based on Master of the Universe by Mattel, produced by Todd Black, Jason Blumenthal, Robbie Brenner, Devon Franklin, starring my boy, gay icon in his own right, Nicholas Galitzine as Adam Glenn He-Man. He's played gay so many times, I don't believe when he plays a straight character,
What
even though I
else was
think
he
the
gay
actor
in?
is straight. Red, White, and Royal Blue. One of his first
Okay.
big roles, this rugby movie, The Handsome Devil.
Okay.
Um, he was in the show Mary and George, where he
Okay.
played a bottom for King James.
Oh, of course.
Yes, he was in the movie. He was allegedly straight in the movie Bottoms, but was played pretty
Okay.
gay in that.
And
I
he
think
was just in this summer, he was in Sheep Detectives.
he was in
You
Sheep
see Sheep
Detectives.
Detectives? That I liked.
Yeah, he was in I think he played a bisexual character in the Craft reboot. He
Oh, okay.
he was the prince in the Camila Cabello Cinderella, also pretty gay in that movie. I was not convinced he was into Camilla. Sorry.
Okay.
It's giving. And then what was the other movie? I feel like he was gay in something else, or I'm forgetting. Oh, well, he wasn't gay, but he dated Anne Hathaway in the movie Idea of You. And he
Okay.
Yeah, and
dated
that's as
Sophia.
close to gay as you can get.
Yeah. And he dated Descendants alum Sophia Carson when he played a Republican in Purple Hearts, which is another
Oh.
form of being gay. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Um,
So that's his filmography, but I think he's a gay icon in his own right.
absolutely, absolutely a gay icon. He's earned it. He's been in
Yeah.
a lot of characters, and from what I understand, in some pretty beloved roles, like Red, White, and Royal Blue, right? That was like a pretty
Yeah.
beloved performance.
There's a
At least
sequel coming.
yeah. So
I couldn't
for
convince
him.
Hannah to do it for the year we tried to do Pride
Mm,
Month because
no,
it isn't fantasy as much as a female
Oh, I
president in
see.
the US feels like a
Ah.
fantasy.
yeah.
As much as Texas flipping blue feels like a fantasy. Uh, Also starring Camila Mendes as Tila. You may know her from Riverdale.
Mm.
I think they're like, who's really good at yelling at her dad? Because half of what she did in Riverdale was like, Daddy, Daddykins, Daddy, what are you doing? Daddy, I'm
Yeah.
ordering a hit on you.
And
Daddy,
80%
stop
of
taking over the town with your private prison. Yeah.
yeah, 80% of her lines in this movie were dad of some
Yeah.
sort.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of 80% of her lines in Riverdale.
So,
Daddykins or
oh no,
Archiekins.
she's being typecasted.
I mean, that's a wide typecast for a woman in Hollywood. Woman with daddy issues. Yeah. Idris Elba as Duncan slash Man of Arms. We just
Mhm.
talked about on Big Liz Pod
Yes.
Pacific Rim, and we saw Idris Elba as a father in that movie.
Okay.
Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
Uh,
I've seen Pacific Rim.
Love.
Enemy of Humanity, Jared Leto as Skeletor.
Mhm.
Alison Brie as Evelyn. Um,
You see, she's evil, but she's a girl.
So
So
she's Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Evelyn. James Purefoy as King Randor. Charlotte Riley as Queen Marlena. I could have sworn it was
I know her for something.
Agent Carter. What was that actress's
Oh,
name?
Haley Atwell.
I could have sworn it was Haley Atwell because I was like, she's giving the mom in the live action Cinderella, and I was like, do you just call Haley
Mm.
Atwell when you need a mom for a blonde reboot? But I
Oh,
was like,
gotcha,
no, but
gotcha.
it's a different actress. I saw
What's
that
her
in the
name?
credits. Charlotte
Charlotte.
Riley.
I feel like, yeah, Charlotte Riley, I think, is married to Tom Hardy.
She
They were in
Ah,
is.
a Wuthering Heights adaptation in 2009. I
okay.
remember seeing parts of that. Yeah, so she's in a very minimalist role in this movie.
Yes, classic mom role.
Yeah.
Morena Baccarin as the sorceress.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
love Marina
Yeah.
Baccarin.
Yeah.
She
She.
she is gorgeous, and she just keeps getting better. I mean, she's aging beautifully. If only I could too. So,
you are.
You
oh,
are Hannah.
thanks.
Uh, that's a
You know
shot.
what? In a weird way, that feels like you just slapped me. You complimenting me.
Hannah, you
uh,
are the Morena Baccarin of my life. So I hope
Oh,
that
thank you.
you're
Ever
welcome.
ethereal and
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks.
yeah.
You're like, yeah,
Uh,
whatever.
Johannes Hocker Johansson as Fisto, John Ji Zhang as Ram Man, Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw, Sashir Zamata as Susie the Boss. I
Oh
love
my
her.
God.
Oh
Love.
God.
Tom Wilton as the voice of Cringer, Battlecat, and Kristen Wiig as Roboto. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
this movie had a 170 to 200 million budget. Right now, box office is looking like 54 million worldwide. Now we're recording this the Sunday of
On
release.
opening weekend,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's predicted to be a bomb. Now, I saw this Friday night. I had trouble getting a ticket. I had to go to Universal Studios, like the Universal City Walk, deal
yeah.
with their effed up parking,
To
and
see the movie there.
yes,
Wow.
because there's like like you know how there's downtown Disney, they have like a City
Yes.
Walk mall.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
And
have that in
then
Orlando.
Yeah, and it was full. People were clapping, they were cheering for lines. People
Yeah.
were
Hello, you
like,
said it's Pride in LA.
it's
Duh, this
Pride
is
in
the gayest
LA.
movie out there right now.
I guess to me it was giving like Burbank, like the Valley. You're gonna get a lot of nerds, a lot of people who
Yeah,
work VFX,
yeah.
special effects, like just people who are like in the craftsmanship of the industry, like a large Gen X
Hmm.
and early
Yeah,
millennial group, Imagineers, people that work for Disney. So it is kind of like a nerd capital. So maybe that's
yeah.
it. Um, I saw some families. I don't know if this movie for children and families? Is it not? I don't
I
know.
would say like, I don't know,
Like
8 and up.
11, 8 and up.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything.
There's a couple of times I sort of swear or are implied to swear, and it always kind of took me off guard. I was like, isn't this a kids movie? And then I'm like, is it a kids movie? I
I
don't
think
know.
Idris Elba says shit at one point, but
Yeah.
otherwise it doesn't seem too bad. I think the sexuality in the movie is pretty toned down, except
Oh
for obviously
yeah.
like the homoeroticism of it, but it's like I feel like you have to kind of be in the know to
Yeah.
really see what's going on and understand it. But otherwise, yeah, I mean it's really nice and colorful and pretty action packed and stuff. So there's also a talking animal. Children love
Yeah.
that.
But I
So
wonder,
Famously.
do kids even know
No.
what Masters of the
no,
Universe would be?
Well,
I
we'll
mean,
get into that.
I saw some kids when I went. I went to an early screening, and there
maybe
was a
kids
few
who are
kids.
into She-Ra
Yeah,
and they're
or the
like, okay,
parents
where's
who were in it.
She-Ra?
I saw a lot of kids with parents
Yeah.
in it,
They're
and
like,
they were like,
finally, I
yeah,
can
right.
show you
Yeah,
this
and they were the
movie. And
ones who like the most of like the dads were in the room were the ones who were cheering when certain characters
uh-huh.
would show up. And I
Yeah.
looked at my cousin. I thought, well, who is this person?
Yeah. Who's
Does this person
Fisto?
have magic power? Is this
Who's
Shazam?
Yeah.
Who is this?
It's just
So
saying.
so yeah, I think kids whether kids would want to see this, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they got a talking
so
CGI tiger.
was your cousin into He-Man at all? So you
No,
both kind of went into it
no,
blind?
we knew nothing about it. And we
Yeah.
both specifically did not watch. I didn't watch. I watched some of the cartoon after and then the movie today, the original movie. But we knew nothing about it. We only went because we're just two sick individuals who really like these kind of kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, I knew who He-Man was. I just don't know how many people really do, but there have been quite a few reboots.
Yeah.
Um, so let's get into a bit of this backstory, which the backstory to me, because I had watched a kind of like history of He-Man before, um, is a fascinating aspect. Like I couldn't separate it while watching this movie. So okay, first have I shown you the shield I got in France?
No.
Let's see.
You got a
So
Oh,
shield?
in Tours,
wow.
I
Oh
haven't
boy.
unwrapped it yet, but because it's something you would hang on the wall. In Tours, I just found this like medieval shop where this husband like designed shields and the wife would paint them. She also like sewed clothing, and they did like art. It's just like this, like right by the cathedral. It's just like a family shop, and I got this shield that she was telling me in French at the time, and my French was not good. Like now I know what she was saying. I like realized it like a day later. But it was the Joan of Arc family crest. The
Oh,
Jean
very
Oh.
d'Arc.
cool.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah, I love her. Someone who also had supernatural powers,
Mm,
but she was more of a banner wearer. She didn't like to kill people, strangely.
wow.
Strangely enough for her public perception, I should clarify. No, I think
Yeah.
it's normal to
So
not want to
strange
kill
that
people.
you don't want to kill people. What?
Yeah. And then I was looking for a cup that was more He-Man appropriate, and I have this Hellfire Club mug,
Yeah.
from Stranger Tides.
It looks
Uh,
like it looks like the one like red kind of like a tiefling looking dude who's on Skeletor's
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
This movie made me think of Narnia in a lot of ways,
Interesting.
in like its collection of weird, random fantasy things.
Yeah.
And then some of his obsession with the world reminded me of have you all ever watched the show The Magicians?
Mm-mm.
no.
But the character is obsessed with like these books that are like Fillory and Further. They're like you're supposed to be like they're Narnia.
Hmm.
And so like they're just similar scenes in the beginning of that show. But He-Man. So in the 50s, parents teamed up with the FCC and the FTC to limit violence and innuendo and advertisements in children's shows. There's a lot of we need to protect the children. Like we don't want them to be advertised to. We don't want them to get unsavory messages. Um,
Huh,
so
that's
that
weird.
that was yeah. Who'd have
I've
thought
never
that?
heard of that before,
Yeah.
and I've never heard it weaponized either. So
No.
weird. Huh.
Yeah. But then Star Wars comes along in 1977.
Mm.
And I think what a cultural moment. So George Lucas was like, who wants to make toys for my movie? And Mattel was like, no, like, who cares? And then this Ohioan company, your people, Hannah,
Hell yeah.
uh, from Kenner, they made the toys that sold what would today's be equivalent of like $2 billion.
Oh my God, yeah.
Were hugely successful. We had some of those, I think, because my uncles had them and they gave them to us. So they were
Nice.
like triple played with, so that you could not make that much money from them. But
Yeah.
we had all these like vintage toys that we were just drooling on. But that's what toys want. I've seen Toy Story. They want to live.
Hmm.
They'd want to be
They
in a
went,
glass case.
yep.
Yeah. Uh, so Mattel was like, okay, fuck. I guess we just make our own Star Wars. How hard can it be? And so they just kind of were like, okay, we did like He-Man, right? Like it's a guy. And we did all these tests with kids, and kids liked barbarians. They liked Conan, but Conan
Hmm.
was just not family friendly.
No.
Um, and so they're like, okay, we can make this a little more family friendly. And they're pitching them to different marketers, and they're like, what's the story? And they were like,
Huh?
uh, so this all lined up. We'll get to this the story, but this lined up with the Reagan administration
Oh gosh.
in their pro-business agenda,
Um,
loosening control of programming, which allowed them to make kids shows that were ads. Because before, my source is because everyone wants you to go to a paywall to read their article, so I have to go to the History Channel, everyone's dad's favorite channel, because they have articles I can read for free. So Medium, think about that. Uh, so then he is loosening controls before there was a Hot Wheels show, and it was voted that it was considered an advertisement. So it had to be counted as ad time by the network. Um, but now controls were loosened, and He-Man, the show made by Filmation, became the first show that was like an advertisement for toys. It was the first, so there's a lot of attention on it. That was a big change in the game because parents were like, this is just trying to sell my kids toys. Now we're so used to it, but that was new at the time, and that was an aspect of the 80s and the loosening of regulation. Uh, and then that also meant selling sugar cereal, candy, like things marketed towards kids. I remember if my mom got me off-brand Lucky Charms, which was like a treat, I'd be like,
mhm.
this isn't the right one because like I knew the song from the commercial.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they're like, don't do this to our kids. Um, like the Gummy Bears theme music's still in there.
The Haribo one?
No, the show, the Disney show, Gummy Bears, bouncing here and
Adventures
there
of the
and
Gummy Bears.
everywhere.
Don't know that one.
High adventure that's beyond compare. They're the
Nope.
Gummy Bears. Yeah. Um, so
It's a
this
classic.
this led to things like Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears being
Oh
dusted
yeah.
off and made
Hmm.
into toys and shows. G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Gem and the Holograms.
Mm-hmm.
Love
So
Gem.
yeah, so
Same.
these all started being made. And then Congress passed a bill to limit ads during children's show per hour and require educational content standards. This was passed in 1988, but guess who withheld approval? Reagan. So this was like with the era of the latchkey kids who were babysat by the TV, and people didn't want to lose those sweet ad dollars. But parents had a lot of attention because this was a new trend, so they did a lot of moralizing. Like there's a moral lesson to this. So at
Yes.
the end of every He-Man episode, there'd be a lesson. I
Yeah.
sent y'all the clip earlier
Yeah.
today of She-Ra and He-Man being like, if an adult touches you in a way that's uncomfortable, and then someone's like, oh, I would fight them off. And they're like, sometimes it's hard. You should tell a trusted adult. And as crazy as it is to like witness that with your eyeballs, it is like, wow, this was
Mhm.
nice that they were telling children to tell a trusted adult that it's not okay to be touched. They did
But
list your
it
priest
breaks
or
the fourth
rabbi as
wall.
someone who's you should tell, and I'm like, ooh,
Right.
not all adults are trustworthy.
But
Yeah,
it breaks the fourth wall. It's not like it's told in story. I think that's what makes it kind of
Yeah.
jarring.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's really direct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd want a 1980s episode of She-Ra and He-Man where they actually address a character being touched.
Yeah,
No.
one of the episodes in the begin, I watched like the first five, and they at first try to tie it into the story of the episode. Like in one of them, in this episode, you saw a lot of people running. Well, you should talk to a doctor before you start to run because you need to make sure that you're physically fit for it. So they tried these really ham-fisted ways of
Running.
connecting the meaning to the episode, and then by like the sixth episode, they're like, ah, fuck, it's not going to happen. And they just sort of, but that I was thinking, why is this happening at the end of this episode? Why are they doing this? But
Mm.
now I see why.
And this ties into something that um this is a tale as old as its time, where a lot of stories that were thought to be for children, people are like, wait, there's no moral, so we ham-fist a moral.
Right.
Like a lot of fairy tales didn't have morals.
Charlie?
We talked about Charlie, Mr. Perrault, Charlie Perrault. I saw a carousel of his stories when I was in France. But he, did a lot of very famous fairy tales, and he would create them to put a moral in or slap a moral on the end. And sometimes sort of made sense, like, hey, be careful with strangers, Little Red Riding Hood. Then other times it was like, Sleeping Beauty, I guess it's really good to wait for love, but sometimes you're horny. Or Bluebeard, if wives weren't so annoying and
Uh-huh.
curious, sometimes their husbands wouldn't have to kill them. Or like Cinderella was like, be good, but also it's great to have a good godparent.
Yeah.
So and the Brothers Grimm would do that too. They would kind of like sometimes throw in a moral, and you'd be like, is that what we got from this? And so we've been doing that to children forever, and um, children are often smarter. I think it was the author of Mary Poppins who said about the ending of The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen, where she becomes a spirit, and if she catches you being bad, it like keeps her from going to heaven. She was like, that's blackmail. Kids know it. uh, So the Children's Television Act of 1990 would ultimately require broadcast stations to air educational programs and limit some commercial advertising for children. This ushered in like the SpongeBob era, where it was like the goal was less, let's make a toy and then a show to sell the toy. But like if the toy is successful, like SpongeBob, then there's a whole marketing apparatus of toys and movies and comics and all
Oh
that.
yeah. Of
And memes. Uh
course.
yeah.
They knew about the memes. They knew the memes would happen.
Yeah, SpongeBob raised me. And that's why I'm annoying. So that we were talking about the cartoon, the Filmation animated series, 1983 to 1984. This actually created a lot of the lore that like Mattel just didn't have. They gave Filmation a lot of freedom. They had to limit the amount he could use the sword because they didn't want it to be too bloody or violent. But they just kind of created it. They gave them a lot of freedom. And so He-Man was Prince Adam of Eternia, and he was kind of like Clark Kent or like Wonder Woman's Diana Prince. So like in a lot of Wonder Woman's, it'd be like, oh, Diana, you're so clumsy, and you're always not around when there's trouble, and you never see Wonder Woman. And it was kind of that he was kind of carefree and silly, but he would secretly be He-Man, who wielded the power of Grayskull. So Tila, who was his friend and like trainer, would be like, why is Adam such a goof off? I wish he could be more like He-Man.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's very Superman, Clark Kent, like He-Man, and in the show, the only thing they do to differentiate He-Man from Adam is that Adam wears like a pink shirt, and He-Man wears a loincloth. They don't ever try to make him look different.
No,
They just call him Adam or He-Man.
because like
So
the Clark Kent glasses thing, I know people make fun of it, but like it's like when people show that picture of Zoe Deschanel without glasses or bangs, and you're like, who is this? It
who is
is
this
like,
woman? I've never seen her.
yeah, is this Katy
Is this
Perry?
Bones? Is
It
this
is
woman from
Bones.
Bones?
Yeah.
Um, so the show Does it take place like on Earth or does it
No.
take place
No.
on his home planet? Okay,
It's
got it.
all on, at least the ones I saw were all on
That's what I thought.
Eternia.
Eternia.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Which they call the Sword and Planet setting. So a mix of fantasy and sci-fi.
Right.
So basically whatever they thought kids would think was cool. She-Ra, the Princess of Power, the show about his lost twin sister Adora, was from 85 to 87, and there was a crossover Secret of the Sword special where she was like discovered. She used to work for the bad guys led by Hordak, who was her nemesis, but then she sided with the Resistance. Um, and then he fought Skeletor. So there were comics, games, toy line. It kind of ended in 88 due to a few reasons, potentially like over shipping product. Like a bunch of product was misdirected and overshipped, and people didn't want them anymore. And the live action movie did not help the falling sales.
No.
It did not do well.
No.
The New Adventures of He-Man from 1990 to 1991 was a sci-fi reboot with not a lot of the same characters. Then there was a bit of a dead space, and then there was a relaunch in the 2000s and like a well-regarded 2002 series, which is I think where I got the Burger King toy. That lines up with like
Yeah.
my childhood timeline. I would have been like second grade. Um, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power was like the next one. So that's what the universe Hannah is in right now. Produced by Netflix and DreamWorks in 2018 to 2020. Written by Andy Stevenson behind like the film Nimona. Very queer friendly, great positive queer rep. Was removed from Netflix. And so now it's nowhere because it was a Netflix original series.
I didn't realize it was removed from Netflix for
Just I think probably technically like a licensing thing.
oh, interesting. Got it.
But also it's like where is this gonna live now? Like
Yeah,
no one can really watch it. Um,
interesting.
so and we're
Hmm.
reaching that era of like media loss.
Yep. Start buying physical media, folks.
Yeah. Yes. T
Yeah.
is in his
See all of mine back there.
yeah,
I'm in my lair and I have
your
all
lair.
my physical media back there. So if I need to watch Golden Girls season 7 and they take it off of Hulu for some reason, I'm covered. I don't have to
Thank
worry about
God.
it.
Thank
Right?
Yeah.
It'd be a
God.
disaster.
The Netflix animated series Masters of the Universe Revelation and Revolution were released in 2021 and 2024. The first one was focused on Tila. It kind of had He-Man die at the beginning, and then she's
Yeah.
the main character, which is very similar to what they did in the recent Scott Pilgrim reboot, where
Oh,
it was like an alternate universe where Scott dies and then the other characters take center stage.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess.
And in that one, isn't I think Mark Hamill the voice of Skeletor
I think so,
in the
yeah.
more recent one?
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 2024 was more of the like less as serious than the 2021 season, and was a little more traditional. But there's also He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which came out in 2021 as a CGI revival that was more like child friendly, like a kids show.
Mhm.
And so he always has the sort of power, do things by the power of Grayskull. It was at one point going to be called Lords of Power, but it sounded too religious. So they
Mm-hmm.
became Masters of the Universe. Um,
Thick, honestly. I guess I didn't realize how much He-Man content was out there.
yeah, and yet I missed it all.
I missed all of it except the memes. Huh.
Uh, and there's so much within the fabric of this franchise, even as I was watching this film, there's so much to unpack with Reagan, the AIDS crisis, 50s nostalgia in the 80s, and now masculinity, uh, Trump and manosphere era masculinity, defining what masculinity is in a post-woke, post-Shrek world, in a post-Disney live action remake,
Oh,
post
goodness.
like every villain has a backstory world. You could say post Wicked, but I think really Shrek is what influenced so much of this.
Yeah.
And this was kind of the boy Barbie movie. There's even a conversation where I'm like, this is supposed to be like the America Ferrera and Margot Robbie conversation in Barbie of like what it is to be a woman, and they have that as what it means to be a man. But like as masculinity is so vaguely defined, it's a much vaguer conversation. Um, uh, yes. Um,
Hmm.
and the fact that He-Man is so homoeroticized also unpacks the homoerotic aspect of traditional masculinity. But there's just so that's why I was like, for a movie that literally made me feel stupider as I watched it. And I didn't hate this movie. I just like there's a lot I liked, stuff I didn't like.
I
Um,
went into it with one single brain cell, and by the end of it, that brain cell was like barely hanging on.
yes, yeah. I just was like, because part of the is this for children or nah wasn't just the content. I was also like, are adults just stupider now? And I think the answer is yes. Where it's like, is this for adults and adults are just dumb? Because there were things where I was like, if this was more of a kids movie, I might have leaned into some other aspects of the story. But I just felt I was like, I'm getting stupider. Like the world is getting stupider, and I, as now part of the world, the stupidity is infecting my brain.
Or is it the nostalgia that some of these fans have that blind their interpretation of what the movie is? Because this is a movie with a major identity crisis on several levels. But I like my cousin and I when we watched it, we knew nothing, so we weren't
Yeah,
reacting to certain moments. But the reactions from the people in the theater came from their memories of what they saw as a kid, not from the film itself.
yeah. People were
Yes.
clapping and
Right.
cheering, and I think of that with like one of the reasons I brought up the Disney live action remakes is people are like, "Oh, I get emotional in that scene where
Right.
Beauty and the Beast dance." I think the Beauty and the Beast is such a great example of that, where I'm like, "Are we emotional because we remember that beautiful scene in the animated film,
Right.
or
Or
is
is,
this movie making us emotional?" And I think it's the first one.
I
yes.
agree.
This is a
Um,
movie that is suffering from oh, I remember that thing in the other thing type
yeah,
of
Hmm.
media. And that's
Hmm.
what a lot of these remakes and reboots are. But
yeah,
I guess to the point about like whether or not this movie, well, the lack of any sort of intellectual through line, I guess, is like it would be more forgivable if this movie was actually targeted toward children. But I think you guys are right. Like this is for adults, and it's for people who are already fans of like the
Right.
yeah.
original media. And so then yes, is it just like we're gonna for I also have this problem with all of these remakes and stuff is that like the stories are dumber because they don't care. They just want people, they want asses in seats because if they can see the thing from the other thing in this thing, that's all that takes,
But
right?
He-Man is not
But
like
He-Man is also the name is dumb, so then it has to be dumb, right?
yeah, I mean, I
So,
wasn't expecting this to be an
right.
Oedipus, but like,
But you know what's annoying to me, what I really found irritating to no end, is that in the movie, there it is saying wanting to say something intelligent about masculinity, what it means to be a man and all this. Okay,
yeah,
great.
and I appreciate that.
However,
However,
there's endless stupid jokes, one after another. It undercuts this. It doesn't commit to being to following through on this idea of rethinking masculinity, because in the end, He-Man beats the crap out of Skeletor, and Idris Elba puts that grenade in that guy's mouth and he explodes. It doesn't commit to that, and I found that very, very irritating. But on the other hand, you're right. Do you want a serious movie that's based on toys, or do you want you can't? It tries to do a bit of both,
Yeah.
and I don't think it succeeds with either.
well,
But I did like parts of this, and that's what
yeah,
I hate about it myself, is because I did enjoy parts of it. But it's that core struggle that it's having between what is it and what does it want to be and what does it want to say.
well,
Well,
can a movie in 2026 that wants bipartisan support fully redefine masculinity,
Yeah.
or is it trying to have it all in a way that like the Barbie movie could get away with kind of being a little more, like, for lack of a better word, because we're stupid now, woke. Uh, that this, it can't. Like people want it to be dumb and for it to end in violence. And if you like question that aspect of masculinity, is that an issue? And I think this is a little metatextual in that I think the movie just does justify a lot of these actions in the movie. So it's not like I'm critiquing the way the characters are acting like, yes, beat the fuck out of Skeletor because he is a bad guy. And sometimes people are just bad and villains don't need backstories. And I do appreciate bringing that in. But then how does this work with this story we're trying to tell about masculinity? And does it
Right.
just at the end reinforce
Right.
traditional masculinity as seen in the 80s and as seen in the 50s, like in this Reagan era property that is tied to government deregulation produced by a corporate conglomerate that benefits from government deregulation.
But also, they take this idea of, okay, men can also express emotion. They can have other outlets besides dealing with a problem with violence. But then they turn it into a joke,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they don't actually treat it in a serious way. And
no.
even just with the character of Duncan, He-Man's trying to say, well, you don't get it all. But in the end, he doesn't change. He's blowing people up. He's killing people, and they make it this running joke about him trying to be soft and sensitive,
Well, the joke
which
is he can't even
undercuts
say
the
the word feelings.
right, which undercuts the whole thing,
Yeah,
which is
I
very irritating.
I know we'll get into this, and I guess maybe this will just lead us into that discussion, is that there's a lot that currently like people on the left are making fun of a lot of people on the right's obsession with masculinity and violent masculinity and big muscles and stuff. The fact that it's gay, right? It's very homoerotic. And so there's that in here.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also making fun of the fact that masculinity itself is, and people who are dealing with their masculinity are having an identity crisis. And so they're making fun of the fact that it is an identity crisis.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think it's that's undermining a lot outside of the movie too. So it's like it's trying to make fun of it in too many ways that it just like
It's a soup. It's a soup of masculinity and ideas. I mean, is a villain queer coded or is it just gays are evil? You know, like there's a
right.
bit of everything. There's a bit of like just like, okay, we're critiquing that men have gone soft. It kind of reminded me of The Incredibles a little bit with Insura Care. There's a critiquing of like men going soft, and we need to get back to like a strong masculinity. Like we need to get rid of this woke HR, DEI, inclusion thing. But then his
Oh,
strength is his empathy. But what empathy is empathy in the room with us? Like this
right.
at the end of the day, it is just a return to masculinity. And that's where you said there are a lot of writers here. That's where you get like, those are all kind of at least
Right.
framed in this movie as sort of competing ideas. And I think a smarter movie could maybe find a way to be like, what is a more traditional masculinity only good if it has empathy, which is the concept of chivalry was made. They're like, we need to get the knights to stop murdering people in the streets. Okay, chivalry, and we talked about chivalry in our Night Before Christmas episode, and the fact that it was always dead even when it was created,
Yeah.
is always referencing a lost past, which is now for us the 80s and the 50s. But is it like we're trying to recreate like a masculinity that combines emotional sensitivity with strength, which is cool and interesting and a way to explore it. But then, or you just kind of fall short where you have one as a joke that allegedly gives him power at the end, and then the movie is really enforcing a more traditional, like very 80s Reagan Trumpian masculinity. Um, which is a little too much credit to Trump because I mean I'm already going to the camp. He allegedly is the same height and weight as me, according to his medical records, but I don't think you can look at his picture and really see that. I don't think he's a famous warrior or athlete. Even
You
when he
guys
was
may be the
younger.
same height, but you're certainly not the same weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Not
can we
not to
quickly
body
talk
shame, but I will.
but I will. I mean, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Actually, I won't.
Yeah, actually don't. No
Yeah.
one will. So really quick, since we mentioned this the story. So the writing credit was one person, then the word and then three people with the ampersands. So that means there was one person, then a team of three. But then
Mhm.
the story credit, I think, had like three or four people
Yes.
also
Story credit
split
has
up.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also split up. It was like this person, ampersand, this person, and
Mhm.
this person, ampersand, this person. So there's a lot of cooks in this kitchen.
Yes. Um,
And they burnt it all to a crisp.
but sometimes a burned brownie is kind of good.
Actually, yeah, that's the thing. It's
I
like,
love a little bit of a crisp chocolate chip cookie.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's a lot
Yeah,
to chew on, that's for
there's
sure.
a lot to chew on because I didn't like, oh, I hate this. This is, I was just like, there's just so much to chew on in this movie.
Right.
But I was entertained. And it never like it's a competent film. Uh, but it does. I would say as we get into the plot, this movie has the shortest second act I've ever seen
Oh
because
my
the
God, yeah.
first act is like 19 different
The the
openings.
freaking prologue that was like a bajillion minutes long.
Yeah, I was like, we didn't need
And
all
we
of
talk
this.
about long prologues in this podcast, but I was like, this one I really was like, my God.
Now, I like that they keep the magic pretty simple of like the power's in the sword.
Right.
It's in Gray Skull. There's cool
Marina
stuff
Baccarin
here.
decided to put it in here. She's guarding it great.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like explaining the mechanics of how all this works. I pretty much understood it.
Yeah, and
I
thank
didn't
God.
have much question. Right, because I didn't
Yeah,
want to. It was already long enough. I
yeah.
didn't need more explanation.
And again, in the remake and reboot era we're in, everyone just wants to add explanation to things.
Right.
And I'm like, and then you get a woman asking a teapot on a floating cart, why doesn't she leave the castle and go to the woods? And you're like, I don't know, because she's a teapot. Like, I don't, like, we don't need to delve into this. Though there were things there, but it did get to the point where I'm like, no, I think you might need to explain this. Um, so that's opening one is our Kate Blanchett The World Has Changed intro, where he explains the world and the magic of the sword. And then we get also I'm a prince and I'm a wimp and I don't want to go to practice because I'm small. And everyone's gonna beat the shit out of me, but I'm also goofy. And my cat doesn't want to go either. And my dad's disappointed in me and wants to humiliate me in front of all my classmates. Um, and Duncan, who's the man at arms, the leader of who's training him, is a pretty empathetic coach, I would say. Like the vibe I got while watching this is like his dad's mean, and this coach essentially wants him to do better and is pushing him to do better, but in a very like supportive way. Like he's like, get up. He's not going to see you cry. He's going to look back and see that you're strong. The dad does not look back. But you
Yikes.
get that like Duncan is a good guy who's trying to toughen this kid up in a way that's not going to traumatize him.
Yeah.
Um,
And if I'm honest, I do think it is a little insulting to Idris Elba if he is like the main guy that he's training children. That feels a little
yeah,
insulting, but
yeah,
no offense to children, but
yeah, yeah. That is kind of weird that the captain of the guard
Right.
would train the
but
kids.
it's obvious, we want Idris Elba to be the actual father figure
Yeah,
to a kid who's not his actual child. Yeah,
yeah,
because men matter more. Anyway,
yeah. Who cares about the
Patriarchy.
mom? Yeah, patriarchy. Yeah.
I taught you that word.
That's right.
So yeah, he's a wimpy kid. We get this is
Diary
Yeah,
of
this
a
is the
Wimpy
diary.
diary of a
Kid.
wimpy kid.
Yeah. Then we get Skeletor invades. I love Skeletor's name. It's the right mix of dumb and like, yeah, he's a skeleton guy, Skeletor. So
Yeah.
he invades with his army of just evil random creatures, which felt very Narnia, specifically like the BBC Narnia specials where it's just like people in like weird prosthetics. and they invade and they're just attacking this city, and we get a very long attack. I think I was expecting this sequence to be like, oh, and they all attacked and it all happened so fast, but it's like this is like 20 minutes.
I
Like,
think the Trojan horse sequence in the movie Troy was shorter.
yes. Because they're running through, they have to fight like Jaw guy, and Duncan loses, and he's like, "I'm a loser now. I gotta go to Weenie Hut Jr." Tila saves him, helps him get up. Um, the royal family is stopped on their big ass bridge by Skeletor and Evelyn. And I thought they were gonna kill the dad, but then they just kind of corner them and they let the queen and son run off.
Right. That was pretty stupid of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense.
Because I was just I was just in Paris, but like when they captured the king, we were just like, okay, Marie Antoinette, run off. Okay, like the Dauphin, like, no, they were gonna execute them. They're gonna torture that little boy till he died and
Mhm.
traumatize the daughter.
Yeah.
Like that's what you do. Like
Marie Therese.
King's sister, she's getting executed. Like,
Yeah.
like
I remember the one moment where I think the explosions are already happening and everyone's looking down. Idris Elba comes up because we've been attacked. And I'm like, no shit.
no shit. Yeah. uh yeah, it's just like a strange. I just kept expecting this is where the sequence ends. And it'd be so easy
I
for
kept
like,
hoping this is where
yeah,
the movie ends, surely.
to like take out the king and queen. There's all these explosions, there's all this. It's like we don't need them anymore.
And there's
Like,
literally no reason. There is no reason for them to live except for emotional climax with the dad, which I
yeah,
don't,
bye. Yeah.
whatever. Like,
And so he can stay a prince at the end, and so the queen can rule.
and so that she can tell him, like, hey, so this blonde girl that's walking up, she's your sister, for the
Yeah.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I'll always get on this with fantasy movies, not knowing how monarchy works. Because I'm like, technically, if the king died, then he's the king. Even if women can inherit, the wife of the king, unless she's a regent, doesn't inherit, doesn't
Yeah.
just become the queen. It goes on, and then she's a dowager. Dowagers have a lot of power. Catherine de Medici, famously had a lot of influence. But anyways, so then she runs off. They go to Grayskull where the sorceress is there. She can't leave the lair, I guess. And they're like, we got to protect the sword. We got to protect him. And she's like, take him to my planet. Which they don't really explain in this, but she's an astronaut from
Right.
Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ended up here.
See, I thought it was a little bit of like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where like the king went to Earth for whatever shenanigans and then picked her up, you know?
Yeah, like she's like almost like what was that movie Enora?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Except they
yeah.
showed
Yeah.
that he wasn't forced to get divorced. Uh yeah, so they send him to Earth. He takes forever to jump through that portal. Skeletor's running up, and no, give me the
Yeah.
sword. Like, don't give it him running
Speaking
that
of
portal.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that movie, he ends up missing the portal
Yeah.
because he takes too long.
And the same thing actually happens in Thor Ragnarok, where they're going through a portal
Yes.
and Thor's hammer gets knocked out at some point or something like that, and they end up in
This movie
different places.
gave Ragnarok
Very much so.
visually.
Yeah, with
Very
the
much so.
big bridges, rainbow
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna
Idris
go ahead and
Elba.
say it. Idris Elba existing in the same universe. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think they were trying to do that in a lot
Yeah.
of visual sense and perhaps even in some of the sense of humor, but the Taika
Absolutely.
Waititi stuff is way more clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
it.
Some of
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Some of it.
They portal through. He portals through, loses the sword because they keep saying he's a wimp. How old is he? 11?
Yeah, something like
Uh
that.
And they later say it's 15 years. It's been 15 years. So I'm like, is he supposed to be like 25?
Yeah, and
Because that kid could
No.
be no older than 11, maybe 12.
Yeah.
So he'd be in his like mid to late 20s.
Yeah. Which I feel like late 20s feels more right, I guess. But maybe he is meant to be more mid 20s.
I do also love how they keep implying that like he doesn't work out, but like you can obviously tell
Oh,
he's like,
it's ridiculous.
especially if you've seen this guy in other movies,
Yeah.
he like gained a
He's
lot of
beefed.
weight. He
Yes.
beefed
Yeah.
up, so
In his
he's
pink
like,
shirt, you can
yeah,
see
he's
he's
like,
not.
"Ooh," yeah. I
Because
was like,
I
last
thought
time,
they were going to go the route of like in the first Captain America,
Yep,
where
me too.
they shrink down Chris Evans. This guy's jacked from the beginning. They act
I
like, oh
think
wow,
I'd rather have this and suspend my disbelief than the
yeah,
skinny-headed
yeah.
Captain
There was enough
America.
special effects going on here.
Well,
They didn't need
Yeah,
more.
I think it kind of like visually defeats the what ends up being the real reveal is that the power's been inside him the whole time. So of course he's strong because the power
yeah.
is already in him. He doesn't know how to use it. But I think it could have been more interesting if he had started smaller and then when he uses the sword he gets bigger, but the whole thing of like, well, that doesn't go away when the sword breaks or whatever. It's like, oh, it's actually been inside me the whole time.
Uh,
Because I feel like by making him buff the whole time, I was like, well, duh, it's inside you. That sword is like nothing.
yeah.
Mhm.
Also, let
Um,
me talk about the sword design. That looks fake as fuck. I'm sorry,
yeah,
that's not a good sword. If you're gonna
yeah.
make like a good sword for me, I'm sorry. Like that's
That's
I
not it.
actually thought this guy, I mean, we're kind of getting there, who's selling him the sword, I thought he was gonna get hoodwinked. I
Yeah,
thought
I
more
thought
of this
too.
movie was gonna be finding the sword. No. Anyway,
Uh,
sorry, I'm getting ahead of us.
yeah, well, because we need this was a long ass act one.
Oh my God.
So we get all this, and now he's flying through. He lands in a pond in Earth without the sword. We cut to him being an adult, and
Crazy.
I was like,
This kid is an orphan who showed up, no paperwork, in Oklahoma, potentially outside of Oklahoma City, in a lake.
Yeah. How do you get a driver's license? How do you get anything? And
who
who raised
raised
him for
him?
15
They
years?
show him
Who
in
raised him?
school.
Yeah, like what is happening? It showed him like being bullied by the teacher too, which I was like, that's insane.
They in Oklahoma, sure,
Sure, I
yeah,
That was one
guess.
of the most lazy, obnoxious, irritating parts of this whole thing, and insulting. Where you sit there and you think, well, who's looking after this kid for 15 years? How do you
yeah.
show up
Yeah.
there?
Because if
And
we're Clark Kenting him, then
Right, that's sort
yep.
of what I was expecting you'd see. But
yeah,
this all by the way, this going to Earth thing, I don't think existed in
no,
any other version of the story.
And it it has absolutely no bearing on this because it turns out that he's there for 10 minutes of the movie, not even. Maybe about 10 minutes of the movie is Earth.
Right.
That's it. And I'm like, so we needed to go to Earth. Why? So we could have a hipster roommate?
Oh, I think it was to try and make him more relatable so that the
yeah.
audience can say, "Oh, well, I have a
Didn't
roommate."
work.
Didn't work. No.
I
And
think
it's
someone
all
pitched it with that idea, and then a
right.
million things came in and happened, and
Yeah.
it was like a remnant from the first pitch.
Right,
Yep.
because the 80s movie is mainly set on
Earth,
Earth.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that whole part was just awful, awful. Because I just want to get back to that planet. And and I also was thinking, well, what's he doing that whole time? Is he just going on eBay looking for his sword the whole time? Is he going on Amazon? What's he doing to try and find this sword?
Well,
yeah.
he's on Hinge. We know that.
He's on Hinge,
He's
right?
on Hinge. He went. I'm assuming he went to college to work in HR.
Yeah, I don't know who paid for that.
Was he talking about this the whole time in college?
And that's the other thing. Like, he's not. Doesn't he know that that's a weird thing to talk about?
He
Yeah,
Like, he's not.
would because
at
the
this
kids
point
made
he
fun of him.
yeah, at
Right?
this
He's
point
not
it's been
new.
15 years.
Right?
That would
It's
Yeah.
be
not like.
something rotting inside of him. He would not have drawings all over. He might have drawings all over his like bedroom, and he hides them from
Nah.
his roommate, or if
Right.
he trusts his roommate, right? Whatever. But he he would not be talking about this on a date. No one else would know.
Because
You
he was
That's
know,
going
not
for
a
that
thing.
that first Thor fish out of water
yeah.
thing with that.
Right.
But Thor gets to Earth. he's Thor already, and
Yeah.
he's just there. This kid's been there for 15 years. He doesn't know to say that
He doesn't know how to be a
on.
human.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I thought what was gonna happen when okay, he's on Earth is that I mean, I realized it wasn't going to be this pretty soon. So that you see all those different heroes in the opening, and I'm like, okay, obviously Skeletor is going to kill them all, and then he is going to like bring his weird friends, which there's just the roommate. So I thought he was going to have more friends, and they were going to end up with him, and they were going to become the new like heroes,
Fun.
masters of the
Oh,
universe,
I like
and
that
like
idea.
Tila would have to like train them. And then like
This is a
that's
better movie.
the that's like why he went to Earth. But no, it's just like his Moses thing. Uh,
Yes, this is his Egypt.
this is his Egypt. And I was my friend who I saw the movie with was like, he should have been raised by lesbians. Should have been found
Oh,
and raised by
absolutely.
lesbians.
And who's to
Uh,
say he wasn't?
we
But
don't know. We
don't
don't,
know.
but it was so I was expecting like maybe someone would call, like at least like a half-assed attempt to be like, my mom's calling. It's they never believed me, or like dad didn't believe me, or I don't know, just
Or
something. It should be a
literally,
secret because it's like he's gay.
there you
It's
go.
like I don't want to tell people about Eternia, but if I'm dating them, I feel like I should.
It's all so confounding. Like, I just, why leave Eternia? Why not go into, be forced into hiding somewhere on
right,
Eternia? Because that would, I think, for Skeletor, make more sense to keep the parents to be like, surely he will come back for his parents. He will come back. But if they don't know where this kid goes, why keep the parents? Like, so that doesn't make
right.
any sense.
I think it was like why he hadn't to explain why Skeletor hadn't found the sword yet. But I think also like in a meta level, it was to like try and make the character more grounded, to bring in that
Yeah,
masculinity
yeah.
conversation, to like
Right,
explain
right.
where he gets these different ideas, but it wasn't done like
Oh,
Yeah, I
by
think
going
that's
to
also
Earth,
what it
he
is. Yeah,
discovered wokeism.
yes, he discovered
Got
right.
it.
wokeism. Yeah, and it was supposed to, I think, be like, this isn't your dad's He-Man, but like it is still your dad's He-Man. So like, who are we fooling? I don't know. I love Sashir. Um,
That
I
character is insufferable. I wish they'd gotten corporate Erin, but that would have been triggering for me because she's way too good at that.
yeah.
I've never worked in HR, but I've dealt with HR and um this looks like a nightmare.
Yeah. So he's like he's on a date and she asks him where he's from, and I guess the whole prologue was him explaining that, which uh his roommate's like, you can't keep doing that. And he's like, well, I'm trying to be honest. And I'm like, that makes more sense if maybe it's date number 7. And you're like, now I can
Right.
finally tell you I'm from Eternia.
Yeah, first date conversation, absolutely not. The fact that that woman sat there through all of that honestly just goes to show what women are going through in the dating pool, okay?
Yeah.
They will sit through a story and finally be like, okay, I think this is a safe time for me to leave finally.
I mean, he has a job. He looks good. So what if he thinks he's from a fictional kingdom?
Turns out to
Uh,
be real, so, you
yeah,
know.
at an extraplanetary kingdom. Um, so he's depressed, but at work he's always looking for swords. And he's not paying attention. But they have to learn to like be inclusive. They're like in a seminar, like the power. We all have the power as a team. Um,
Oh,
that he
yeah,
brings back later.
yeah.
Yes.
But also it turns out he has the power inside of him. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so he again, this movie has so many things going on that are just kind of confused.
Right.
But he is eventually he's in a performance review where she's like, if you keep looking for weaponry, you will have to be fired. And then he gets the text that they have the sword, and he leaves, and is gonna get fired. Shows up to this like comic book shop where the guy's like, you'll know it's me. Then he starts asking everyone if they have a sword.
And it takes too long to get through that joke.
And
Should
it's
have been
never
one
funny.
time. Nope. One time is enough. the rule of three does not apply here.
Now, does it? I was like, is this trying to be like he's cruising? I was like,
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
because it's like,
well,
oh,
the
do you
one,
have a sword for me?
well, the one, where he doesn't even really say anything. He's like behind glass, or whatever, and he just like wiggles his
Looks up.
eyebrows, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's
you're
true.
so right.
Yeah, I was like, is this because? But then they won't commit to the joke.
No.
Like I was expecting the person to be like, oh, you're hitting on
Because
me.
I bet some of the people had no idea that may have even been the subtext. Maybe
No.
writer number 2 said that's the subtext,
Yeah.
and by the time writer number 4 came around, it was totally lost on them.
Because it's like, oh, a big muscle, I guess not muscle bound, but to my eyes, muscle bound person in a pink
Right.
shirt is started asking you have a sword for me and wiggling his eyebrows. Like,
I was literally trying to look up the sexuality of these people. I know that's fucked up, and especially during Pride. But I was like, surely someone gay wrote this or had something
no,
to do with the story
I don't
to
think
put in the
so.
potential cruising reference. I was like, surely someone should have been there to be like, that's what this is.
Well,
Or
I think someone maybe thought that and then it just didn't make it
Yeah.
because
It's
I don't know.
too unfocused, or even not. It's not even subtle enough. Like we're inferring that, but I don't even know who intended that.
yeah, because to
But there's
me,
so
if
many
it's
gay like references to
Yeah.
homosexuality in here that I'm like, is it a bunch of straight people coming up with
I think
it?
so. Because
Which
to
is why
me,
it's not funny.
but like,
But
because they don't commit that it's a cruising joke. But if it's not a cruising joke, what is it? Is it just that it's weird if someone asks you if you have a sword? But you're in a game store, so like you might like.
I don't know.
So
But
like to me, the only way it's a joke is if it's cruising. Because otherwise, again, like it's just like, do you have a
I
sword?
think
It's like,
maybe it
whoa,
was
random.
supposed I don't know. I think it potentially was supposed to be that because I keep going back to the sequence or the shot where um it's when he becomes buff for the first time, it starts at his crotch and comes up this way. Like it's
Yeah.
looking up, and I'm like, that's what I think I text you guys. I'm like, this is the gayest movie I've ever seen. But quickly about the director Travis Knight. He's the
Okay.
CEO of Leica, so the stop motion animation
Okay.
Yeah.
studio.
He directed Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes. But he is the son of Nike co-founder Phil Knight, which is probably why they got that fucking huge Nike drop when Skeletor later in where Skeletor's
Yeah.
wearing that purple, which I thought was actually pretty lit. But
You're
that's
buying the product placement.
I'm buying
You're like, I would
that
look like
product.
Skeletor in the gym.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
And then because he said the sword for $300 and it's yours, but then the guy's like, oh, it's just like attached. It's like a prop in the store. And I'm like, did he get $300? Like, did he Venmo him the $300 off
Good
screen?
point. Good
Like,
point.
Yeah, where was the
That's never fulfilled.
transaction?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I thought this guy was setting him up and then there was gonna be like a police chase or something.
yeah.
No,
But
nothing happens.
he rips the sword out very slowly, and then he's
It's
like
not
humping
funny.
the thing, and then people are filming
Oh,
it,
oh,
and then she's like,
horrible.
"Oh, are you single?" And
I
so again, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I know he is hot. I have eyes, but I'm like, is he hot in this movie? Uh, all because there's a scene in the gym where he's in a kitty sweatshirt and
Right.
he's like, how does someone get started at the gym? And I'm like, started. um but the Dolph, what's his name,
Dolph
Lundgren.
Lundgren.
Lumbrin, who played the original He-Man, was like,
Mm.
it's not about what's in front of you. The front is just facade. You have to back what's behind you. You have to back yourself, because there's this thing that he's like deficiently masculine, but you're looking at someone who's like conventionally attractive and hot. And
Right.
so you're like, what am I supposed to be seeing? It's
Well,
like, is Anne Hathaway ugly in the beginning of The Devil Wears Prada? No, but like the movie is telling us this is an obese woman. Like,
yes.
yeah.
Um, well, I also think that the layer of it here is that this is a very conventionally attractive man who is also very much a nerd.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him sexy to these that specific person
Right.
in
Mm.
this world.
That's how I read it. Yeah.
Oh,
But
because he's obsessed with the sword and
yeah,
shouting, I
she's
have the
like,
power.
she's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's like a freak, awesome. But
Hey,
eh,
I'm not yucking that yum. I get it.
but like none of this is funny.
No.
He's doing his best.
This is great casting. I think the
Yeah.
Yeah.
actor did a
He was good at that.
fantastic job.
I think it's like, again, it's like the lack of like, it should have been more explicit that he's like humping the guy. Like, either lean into that and like be like, it's funny that he's humping it, or like lean into like something even more slapsticky, or like there's just like a kind of a halfway attempt with a bunch of different jokes. And so then
Actually,
I'm confused as to where we are.
now that we're talking about this scene in particular, this has to have been written by a straight person because I think it's touching on like the fear of homosexuality and
Yeah.
masculinity because what it looks like he's riding and getting it from the back, but it's like that's not funny. So it's like this had to have been a straight person saying that this
Yeah.
has to be in the because like what is the purpose? Because the homoeroticism that makes it cheeky and fun is not the joke. This isn't funny.
Yeah,
It's
it
like the
doesn't.
movie is saying, "Oh, it's funny that it looks like this guy is getting rammed from behind." It's like, what? That's
But it
not
doesn't
funny.
even lean into that enough.
No,
No.
it's like
No.
It's
I'm
what confused.
confused.
I'm confused. There are a couple times where it's like the most they'll do for his slapstick is like him falling. Um, and
Right.
like there's the jawbone guy or whatever, not jawbone. That's Snapjaw.
Snapjaw.
Like holds him, like kind of does a wrestler hold and throws him, but it's set up like he's about to like give this guy a wedgie, and I'm like, oh, are we going for like the kind of like kid humor, like, because this is I
Right.
guess a family movie, and like, oh, it's like a emasculating, but it's like, no, he's still just thrown. So at the end of the day, it's like they just have him fall around a lot, and I'm like, if we're trying to like show that he's deficiently masculine, like he needs to be doing dumber like things that are funnier. Like
Right.
he just like falls, and I'm like, so like go all the way, and he like gets stuck on something else too. I don't know, like it's just like the joke. Or is he just hot actually, and like he's doing all this dumb stuff but he's hot, and that's why he gets away with it? Or is it because he's gay? It's just like, yeah, this is making me sound like I dislike this movie more than I did, but it was just like there's just so many things where I was like, what's happening here,
Yeah.
and why
I
didn't we
think
hone this in?
I think no one put much thought into it, is my actual
Yeah.
feeling on this. And no one sat down and said, well, let's make this about gay panic. Well, I don't, I think some people would just, they were just, let's have them fall down because it's fun. It's allegedly
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I don't think there was
Let's
any
have him
thought.
get filmed doing what looks like a sex act on
Right.
this big figure and like that's funny. But that doesn't go anywhere. You
Yeah.
see it through the phone, but it's like but that's not like it doesn't go viral. He doesn't
You
get
know
on the
what my,
news. It's
what
And they
I
don't
felt
sex it up enough.
Yeah, I felt at times
But to be
that
funny.
Yeah.
that the makers of this knew that this property is a silly property
Yeah.
and that it's a toy property and that they're so worried that we're going to laugh at it that they thought, you know what, let's try to make the audience laugh before they start
Mm.
laughing at us. So let's throw a bunch of jokes, just and it worked for Marvel, so we'll do the same kind of thing. And they thought, well, we'll just make them laugh before they laugh at us. And none of the jokes, maybe some of the jokes somewhere do. I can't think of any, but it's it just and that is a good moment where where like why are we wasting time on this? Let's get back
Yeah.
to it turning.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the story. Let's get back to the characters instead of this dumb waste of time.
Because it would be, again, like I would get what they were doing if the jokes were funny. Like it's
Right.
just like they
I
don't
would
commit hard enough. So I'm just like, oh, he's just rolling around.
I'm all for humor as long as it's funny. Don't
Yeah.
waste my time with something that's not fun. We're here for 2 hours and 40 minutes or however long it is.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time with dumb, silly jokes. Let's get on with this.
Well, it's if they're gonna be dumb and silly, then commit to the dumb and silly. But they're
Right,
kind of like,
but make it funny.
halfway. They're not like dumb funny. They're not clever
Right.
funny. They're just
No.
It's
like
doing a disservice to the
yeah.
rest of the movie.
Because
Yeah.
again, we're setting up. Is it funny that they think he's cruising, then like go all the way? And I don't know. It's just
And I wanted to get into the characters. I wanted to know about what the world is. I want to get into this. And then they're slowing down to make some silly joke every second. And any moment of real conflict is undercut by some kind of silly joke.
yeah,
So that plagues the
yeah.
whole storyline.
There are a lot of scenes that are slightly too long too.
Yeah.
Like just like an it too long. Rafa made me watch season 3 of Euphoria. And in that there were a lot of I'm like, why are we watching this person walk down this hall? It's like I
Right.
think things are getting so long now, and I'm like, but they go on for a beat too long. And they're
It's
like,
it's
just
because
trim.
they need to fill time because they don't
Yeah.
have any other
Right.
content worth showing.
Yeah. He gets the sword, it doesn't work. He's embarrassed. We all knew that was gonna happen. And then he goes home, he's disappointed. The cops show up, he's arrested, he's in the back of the cruiser, they're stuck in traffic, a monster's attacking. And he
And then the
get
police officers both get out and leave their prisoner in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah,
like, I guess
Yeah.
only in Oklahoma City? I don't know.
yeah.
And
Oklahoma,
then
sound off in the comments. Let
yeah.
us know.
And he's being chased by the monster, and then that's where we meet Tila. Uh, she's
It's
an
all
adult
grown up
now.
now.
She's all grown up. She's fighting. He's running around. At one point, she's like the monster's on top of her, and he's just still sitting there. And I was like, I get that you're shocked, but like you at this point, it's your best friend. Like, wouldn't you like run up and do something? And
I
if
don't
you
That'd be
know.
don't, isn't
that'd
that
be too logical.
wouldn't that be like a plot point? But so then he at one point he can't jump off the freeway, and he like
Right.
gets it's like he would have broken all his bones, but she's like, why can't you do this? But the monster gets hit by an Amazon truck. And you're like,
Oh my
wah,
God.
wah. Yeah. And they get back to her spaceship, and he's like, I told you all that this was real. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
not you specifically, but you in general.
And that's not funny because
No.
none of those people know him.
And Earth will never really come back.
Literally, it isn't. It's gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking, are they going to have some kind of like follow up to the fact that everybody is standing there taking photos of a spaceship, and then there's a big monster running around? And does this come back at all?
And
Like,
hours earlier or the day before, they have a video of him at the game store, and it's
yeah.
just
Right.
like none of that comes up. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, don't you remember that we're in the 2020s?
Is
People
like
record stuff on their phones.
Right.
was Skeletor gonna like invade Earth
That,
or
Yeah, that's sort of where
something?
I thought the third act was going to go, that we would
yep,
come back there somehow.
Yeah.
but
But
But that would have
alas.
made too much sense.
yeah, I mean
I don't know if it would have made sense given whatever the second
No.
act was.
I don't really want to watch them go to Earth again,
No.
but I'm
No,
like,
too much of this movie
but
is
you gave it to
already
me.
ripping off, Marvel movies and all. Even that
Yeah.
fight on the bridge,
Oh
the
yeah.
one you just mentioned, reminded me of the scene in Spider-Man: No Way Home when Doc Ock attacks on the bridge,
Thank you.
and it's
Hmm.
just a cluttered. And I wish they just skipped over the whole going to Earth thing
It
and let us just get back to Eternia.
yeah,
Like
because
I get the reason why, but I don't think that's justified enough to spend that much time
the
there.
reason is we need to get rid of this kid and get rid of the sword so Skeletor can't find them.
But
Right.
then
But
just hide him in the woods. I've
but
seen
we don't
Sleeping Beauty
exactly,
Right.
exactly. That's why I'm saying like
Have them raised by, some
by
fairy,
yes,
lesbians in the woods. Yeah,
yeah, by
because
lesbians in the woods.
there's
Seven
literally
lesbians.
there's literally no connection to Earth for him except for his roommate, but that's barely a thing. It's like I don't think this guy likes him,
and
but
Right.
like
he
There's
the
no
likes
eight.
family. There's nothing.
so it's like
Yeah,
I don't care about Earth, even though IRL I live on Earth,
IRL.
Right.
right? But like it's not like, oh no, what's gonna happen to all the people he knows on Earth? I'm like, I don't think he knows anybody. Sashir Zamata doesn't give a fuck. She was gonna spire him.
Yeah, I mean they say that he's good at listening or he's caring, but you could do. I mean, misnomer that HR is about caring, but
HR is not your friend.
yeah, but
Sorry.
it's like bringing you could bring the kindness element into this world without him
Yeah.
going to Earth. Like the forest lesbians could teach him to be
Yep.
kind to the animals. That could be even how he meets his cat.
Because, well, also the other thing is, I'm already getting ahead of us again. Is this cat reunion underwhelming? Because we saw the cat for 3 seconds at the
Mhm.
Again,
start of the
that's something
movie.
if you saw the cartoon or the
It's like,
other thing that you'd be excited. And I had
exactly. But
no idea
in
why we
this
spending time with this
movie,
cat.
no, in this movie, it falls completely flat. So yeah, don't leave Eternia. Fuck off to the woods. Also, that would mean that he understands what's going on, and so he has more motivation to save Eternia. Because otherwise, what is really his motivation to save Eternia if he grew up on Earth? It's like,
Well, with by who? In an orphanage with all her
right.
Yeah.
twists.
So that's please, sir. No, it's just like I have a hard time believing that living on Earth for 15 years that he would like be able to remember everything so clearly. He would have like assimilated in some way. But then again, we don't see a
Yeah.
family or anything. So they get away with that, being like he
But
wasn't forced to assimilate.
would they are they doing this because Barbie goes to Earth in the Barbie movie? You know, this is boy Barbie movie. They're like, we need to bring in like how she's has to face like modern conceptions of womanhood in Earth. Does he have to see like modern conceptions of masculinity? But the thing is that like that is the central plot of Barbie, that her like kind
Yeah.
of Eve awakening. That's not really here. So he's back home. Tila brings it, is like, yeah, Skeletor's been ruling. Here's the resistance. And they're all instantly like, who is this loser? He's not a
Yeah.
prince. He doesn't remember our names because he's calling us Fisto.
And of
That was the
course,
other thing. And I'm like, he doesn't remember their names, but he still remembers everything else. And he has such an intense connection. But then when he gets there, no one is excited to see him, probably because they thought he was a little twerp as a kid. And they're like, okay. So it's like,
Well,
I
this
don't,
is where if we're going for a lost princess thing or like a lost prince, then I start thinking of the Marie Antoinette's son. I start thinking of like Anastasia, and like there were a lot of both those people died tragically, but there were imposters that would show up and be like, I'm so and
yes.
so, and eventually
Mhm.
like Marie Therese, her daughter, is like, I don't want to see these guys claiming to be my brother. It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Or like people are like, I don't want to see all these people pretending to be Anastasia. It's traumatizing. Um, but it's like I was expecting maybe they have to like make him prove, but they're just like, oh, you don't remember our names? Like, oh, you're a loser. I was just like,
It doesn't make
she
any sense.
she believes it's him. She is his best friend from growing up. Like, what do they want? I guess they're just fighting towards this Skeletor. Are they like monarchists who are trying to restore this monarchy? Again, I sound
right.
way more like I watched this movie. It's kind of like, okay, but like, just I think a lot of choices were made that were like, I get, like, what are we doing? Not to sound like the SNL impersonation they do of Tucker Carlson. What's going on here? What are we doing? But it's like, I just didn't get. They're just so instantly mean to him, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because you were wimpy when you were 11, or because you don't remember our names, but they're not like, what was the royal families? Blah blah blah. Like, do they not? Do they just think he's a wimp? Do they not believe he is who he is?
Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And he brings the sword, and they're like, "Give us the sword."
Yeah, we want to use that. It's like, I don't know what's happening.
But then I was like, "Are they villains in their own way? Like another faction he has to fight?" But that's in the version of the movie where him and his Earth friends have to be the new heroes.
Right.
Right.
I don't think
Um,
anybody thought about it. They thought, oh, let's just have them kind of fight with each other a little bit. We'll have some
yeah,
conflict.
Yeah. And it honestly, Cullen, it sounds like the movie that you're talking about with like the Earth friends having to it's giving Shazam. It's giving house
Yeah.
full of orphans and foster kids
yeah. And I
becoming
liked
superheroes.
Shazam, the first
Listen,
one.
same, there probably won't ever be another one.
Oh, I
So,
think they are, because there's a new reboot. Because now we're doing
oh,
all the DC people again.
yeah, because I was gonna say, what's his name is probably not gonna be in that. He's getting too much flack for being a Republican, I guess,
Yeah.
or
Uh,
worse than a Republican.
and then so we get he's in jail sort of with Tila and the robot who's
You
a
guys keep
maid.
saying Tila, and I know that's her name, but all I can think of is Tila Tequila.
He's there with Veronica Lodge.
Literally, yeah, he's there with Veronica Lodge. He's there with. She was in a an Amazon Prime movie. It was not good.
Not the revenge one. That Do Revenge is on Netflix.
No, it was like she. It's I think it was called Upgraded or something. She's like she gets upgraded to first class, meets this guy, lies about her identity, and then that whole time she has to like pretend to be someone that she's not, and they
Oh,
fall
I
in
did
love.
hear about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
Eh,
serviceable, but not
Um,
great.
and we realize that the drunk guy in the corner is her dad.
No one's shocked.
And
Because it
then
sounds like Idris Elba coughing. I'm like, that's Idris Elba. That's him coughing. I know his
I
cough.
hear that cough from
I,
anywhere.
yeah, I
Yeah.
hear that cough in my dreams.
That's Cat's Idris Elba.
Yes, it's Idris Elba. No, that's
Um,
Pacific Rim's Idris Elba. We're about to cancel the apocalypse.
and
That's a
he's
very
like,
good Idris Elba
Thank you
impression there.
yeah.
very much.
And he's like, remember, you're always so mean to me. And I'm like, he wasn't. Like, he was pretty supportive. Like,
Yeah, I was like, there's no proof of that.
yeah, there's no,
And even
we're
that's
told a
true.
lot of things. Yeah.
Even his character, who goes through that traumatic event of, failing to protect the family, even that ends up being treated, as a joke.
Yep.
That could have been, if they wanted to commit to have a heart to the movie, they undercut by being silly and having jokes, and again undercutting the whole masculinity thing that they're trying to deal with in that.
Yeah,
Like,
he has
is the,
PTSD.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
and they
crime
make fun of it.
is his daughter now has to protect him. And that's an inverse of the appropriate gender
Yes,
balance.
and
That's the
she
conservative element of
and
this
she
movie.
treats him like absolute garbage. There's like no empathy. So maybe he did have to go to Earth to learn empathy.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, Eternia is kind of a mean place.
Yeah, and it was mean even before Skeletor took over. So
Yeah.
what are we really saving here?
Yeah. It's not like Narnia where you're like, yeah, these beavers, their culture should be preserved. Like, these are lovely people.
Yes, yes.
So they escape because he gets the robot on their side. Because he's like, robot, you used to be a great warrior. Oh my gosh, you're
Right.
so cool. And she's like, great, I'm not cleaning anyone's bodily fluids. Because Tila is just like, she's a service bot. And it's like, wow, no one should ever
She
treat Rosie from the Jetsons like this.
she kind of says clanker with a hard R at one point. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
that's
yikes.
gonna be me if my kid dates a robot. You're bringing this clanker into my home.
Easy,
Uh,
easy. Tread lightly.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I just oh gosh. I the more I talk about this, the more I'm so confused what this movie is because I came out of it being like,
Liked
I
it.
had a great time,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, what did I watch?
This movie doesn't want you to think about it.
No.
And
Right.
that's okay. It's just like, I thought it was fun. I thought it looked cool. I was like, I sort of like what they wanted to do, but like, it made me feel stupider. And I feel like in order to fully embrace it, you have to like not think at all. And I know I say I just kind of watch a lot of movies and let them wash over me, but it doesn't mean I don't think.
Right.
Like, you process what the story is telling you. And yeah, so it's like I can't fully not think. I like know this isn't trying to be like, I don't know, East of Eden or so, it's like
It's not cinema.
yeah, I know this is He-Man and
It's
this is
it's a toy. It's based.
This
It's
is
to
a
sell
motion
toys.
picture. It's a
Yeah.
series of moving
Yeah,
pictures.
that's true. But the
it's like,
problem is, though, it sometimes wants you to think. It sometimes
Yes.
wants you. And if it just stopped that and say, we're just going to have fun with this, then you
I-
can just sit back and have fun with it. But then it throws in this extra complication that it confuses. I'm confused what it wanted me to do with it.
Yeah.
What did it want me to come away with?
I think that's what I'm getting from a lot of big budget movies. I think of like the Snow White remake. I think of like all these things where it's like there's a version of what frustrates me is there's a version of all these movies that works that isn't even that different and wouldn't necessarily be what I would make if I was tasked with it. But there's a version that would work with the various degrees of changes. Maybe a
Yeah,
recasting of a Gal Gadot or a rewriting of a
disagree.
thing.
Hard disagree.
Hard
She did
disagree.
amazing.
But like a
Hell no.
but like a quick rewrite or a quick tone adjustment, and you could really kind of fix these things. So it's not like, oh, this is garbage. Like there's a version of this that's working, but
And
like,
sometimes simple is
yeah,
better than complicated. And I think a simpler version of this would have been a more successful and more unified story than
yeah,
what they went for here. They went too complicated in trying to be too many things for too many people.
yeah. It's like, and they don't do any of them well. And it's
No.
like, if you streamlined it, again, I'm not saying there's a version where this is uh Hamlet. There's a version where this is the He-Man movie that's really fun and says a nice little thing that you can be a big tough guy but still have a heart.
Right.
You know, not groundbreaking, but a movie. It's like but it's like I don't know if it's like we're all stupid. I don't know if it's the industry. I don't know if it's like the way people control what messages like corporate interest. Like I don't know, but it's like I just feel like we're always there. We're like right at the cusp.
Mm.
And that's what's frustrating. It's not like this is garbage that makes no sense. It's like this is makes no sense, but we could. We're there. We're almost
Mhm.
there, and we just won't get there.
Yeah.
And it's driving me crazy. And I have no emotional attachment to He-Man as a property.
Right.
But so they attack the city, Skeletor attacks to get the sword. So we get the sword's the MacGuffin. They're running around. They give him the sword. They're like, "Don't lose this." Everyone's getting captured and shot at. He has to fight Snapjaw, and he's like, "Actually, in HR, I learned that you can de-escalate a situation." And then it's like obviously that doesn't work, and he's getting his ass beat, and he's just getting thrown around, and they're like, "Ooh, ooh." Uh, but then he has the sword and he gets a vision of the sorceress that says say it now, like say I have the power,
Mhm.
and he does, and his clothes rip off and we get him seeing himself get abs, which was a funny shot.
Didn't
uh
he try to do that
in Earth.
but it didn't work because he was on Earth?
Yeah, but it sent a signal. That's how Tila found him.
Oh, right.
Right.
She's like, why did it take you so long? He's like, well, I lost it. And she's like, you lost the sword? I'm like, okay, 11.
And he
Have you
didn't,
ever asked an 11-year-old to keep track of something?
true. And he didn't change,
Yeah, she's like, you didn't change. You're the same.
but then he changes when he's
When he
on Eternia.
Yes, because
He
the magic's
gets,
here. Yeah.
oh, okay,
That's
okay.
what I got. I was like, okay, it only works in this
Yeah.
dimension.
They never fully explain why, but that's sort of what I assumed. You
Yeah.
must have to be on attorney in order for the magic to work,
Hmm.
And I'm okay. Don't
I
explain that
guess.
to me.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not a
fine
detail
enough.
I need. Tell me who
Yeah.
raised him, but don't don't
Right.
don't,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
give me
yeah.
this.
Show me him going to the zoo with all his other orphans and him trying to talk to the tigers, but the tigers aren't talking back. Show me
Yeah.
You know what
that
else?
scene.
And this goes into that is like if we see he learns empathy and all this from HR, but there's this whole father dynamic. I mean, wouldn't it have made more sense to have had him learn empathy from a space from an Earth father or Earth parent, and that way we could have seen who raised him. We could have
Right.
understood where the empathy came from,
Mm-hmm.
and because there is that also you said that dynamic with Idris Elba, that thing, but he's not he didn't learn empathy from him. And in that moment where he becomes He-Man, you know, I, it was a cool moment, but I don't know. It just that was another moment where they like undercut it with a joke, where he I forget what it says we're saved, and then something stupid happens, and Tila goes, "Oh,
We're
we're
dead.
screwed, we're
Yeah.
screwed," and it's just oh,
A-
so frustrating.
Unbearable.
Yeah.
he fights the bad guys, they escape. He's like, oh my gosh, I shot at these people. And I was like, oh, is this now where like, because he's human and he learned like human empathy, so like
Right.
killing people is scary to him. That doesn't
Right.
really go anywhere.
No.
um but they're flying, they get attacked by spaceships. They have to fight them off because he's like, Daddy, you're a drunk and you can't fire the cannon. I'm Veronica Lodge. I thought she was great in this movie. This is no shade to her. But and then He-Man ends up flying a plane and punching out aliens and landing in the woods and having a encounter with the sorceress as a falcon. But it's interrupted by Tila, and now we gotta fix the ship. And we get her being like, Daddy, don't drink. Because he's an alcoholic. And then that also the robot is no longer a warrior because he took out the plug that made her
He
uh
changed her
her coding.
microchip. It's
It's like
giving Big Hero
Baymax.
6.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The robot definitely disappears for some scenes. It's like, wait, where is she? Um,
And they paid Kristen Wiig money for
yeah.
her. So that feels a little bit of a misuse of an investment, in my opinion.
But he has sexual tension with Tila as she like lifts the ship.
He hasn't.
He
I
has
don't
a
think
crush on her.
I think she's kind of like, I have shit to do.
Yeah. But he's all muscly and he's like, ooh. And then I've always had a crush on you, basically. He almost says that, and she's like, I always loved you as a friend. Like, you're
You're
always
such
such
a
a good
good
friend.
friend.
Mhm.
Literal friend zoning.
See, even He-Man can be in the friend zone.
I
Because he's gay.
Right.
I was just like, I don't like he's a good actor. Yes, he has a crush on her, but I was like, I'm just so used to him being gay. I'm like, he's gay. He's not in love with her.
I think this is also kind of like, I know T, you just said, oh, even He-Man can get friend zoned,
Yeah.
but I think this is kind of like, I don't I don't know if it purposely is, but could be read as a nod to incels being like, see, even this hot guy is getting rejected. It's okay. It's
Or
women's fault.
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
because he's a beta cuck inside?
I don't
He's
know.
looks maxed now. He's hammered his chin, but uh I don't know. Because the way in which his masculinity is deficient, this is just something that's, I think, so fascinating about American masculinity and masculinity in general, because it's such a nebulous concept. It's kind of unclear because he's not really, for lack of a better term, a pussy. Like, except, okay, there's a giant monster and he like is scared by it, but like,
Mhm.
wouldn't you be? Or he doesn't like being shot at, and it's like, well, the last time he saw violence was like he was 11 and it was kind of traumatizing. So it's
Mhm.
just kind of like,
And he hasn't been on this planet in so long, and so it's like he's relearning the planet. It was a
yeah.
fantasy for him, basically.
So they're all like, why are you so dumb and losery? And it's like everything he's doing
He's like,
is
I
pretty
just
well
got back.
yeah, it's pretty well adjusted. And like, even okay, he activates He-Man pretty quickly, and like as He-Man does a decent job like
Mhm.
pretty quickly. So he's, yeah, it's just kind of like, what is missing? But according to the drunk guy, because he's talking to Duncan, and he's like, to be a man is to be a protector. And he's like, what about listening and talking? And he's like, when someone's coming at you with a sword, are you going to talk to them, or are you going to fight and protect your family? So this is supposed to be the America Ferrera, what is a woman Barbie moment, I think, where it's like a
Mhm.
man is a protector, which is a very common thing that is said. I think a common thing that people also say is protecting from who? Because the reality is it's protecting from other men, typically. That like
Right.
men created a world where they're evil, so they have to protect.
The good ones have to protect from the bad ones.
Yes, and there's a logic to that, but there's also the reality that many of those people, the person who's hurting them is their protector. Like statistically, now I'm talking about sexual assault and abuse statistics, but like statistically, it's more likely to be someone you know, someone who should be protecting you, an authority figure.
Right.
You know, like,
Statistically speaking,
yes.
the data is out there.
Yes, maybe in the Middle Ages when Vikings were invading, it could have been a foreign invader, but right
Right.
now it's not foreign invaders attacking your women. It's your mega church pastors and your priests and your politicians and your cops and your judges and
People who
your
abuse
neighbors.
power
Yeah. And that power could be simple as being a dad, being the head of a
yeah.
household, or a stepdad,
Or a friend.
a friend. Yeah. So it's just, ugh, yeah.
And that's our He-Man PSA.
That's our He-Man PSA. So it just because it's kind of the conversation was left there, and it's a very conservative definition of masculinity, but masculinity is famously hard to define because, gender, like most things we deal with, is a construct.
Mhm.
And so it can
A
never
social one at
a
that.
social one at that. Can it ever be truly defined? I mean, actually, I realize that like masculinity is actually something I write a lot about. It's like in most things I write. And something a project I was working on now, like as I was trying to define what is masculinity, how do we define it? Is we sort of define it as being a hero. What is heroic is often equated as masculine, hence gay coded villains. Um, but what that is also like what is a hero is also a very nebulous concept. So I don't know. Hannah, what did you feel? How did you feel about this scene?
I've already forgotten what scene we're talking about.
Where he's like, a man is a protector, and I didn't protect her. Even
Oh,
though he did, like, they would have just
I
been fucking killed by Jawman if he didn't fight him. He lost, but
I don't know because it's putting a lot of the emotional weight onto Idris Elba. And it's like, not that I guess distracting is the word I'm going to use. Like, it's distracting from Adam, like figuring out him. And they don't do anything well written, I guess, with it because the way she treats Idris Elba is like, it's a caricature. I feel like it of like how maybe men feel they're being treated, or it's a caricature of like, oh, women don't appreciate what men have done for
yeah.
them kind of thing. It's just
But
like,
he's an alcoholic loser that she's had to take care of. It's a weird
but
relationship
she
with
has,
addiction too.
Yeah.
yeah, but she doesn't have any empathy for him anymore. So that's actually something I'm more interested in. That's why I think it's distracting, is I'm like, okay, why is she acting this way? It's like, I get it, but also it's like, that's still her dad. Like, she thought the world of him and now she doesn't. That's more interesting than anything that's going on with Adam, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's also just like the weird meanness of the people in Eternia.
Mhm.
It's
Petty bitches.
Yeah, they're petty bitches. And also because we get this scene where they're all captured by Skeletor, and it's like, tell me where he went. And Moss Man gets burned up by Evelyn or Skeletor, somebody. He's all burned up. He's like, mulch, and they're like, haha. There's a lot of like Skeletors like laugh
Mhm.
when I tell you to laugh.
Ugh.
And
That
yeah.
is not funny, especially knowing what I know about Jared Leto. Jared Leto allegedly has a cult
Yes.
who, and he has a lot of allegations against him for abuse. Um, and the whole like the way Skeletor, and I don't know if is this the way Skeletor is also his personality in the show or the original
Hmm.
movie. I don't know, but it's making fun of that idea of like, oh, I just want attention, and any attention, even bad attention,
Yeah.
is good attention. But it's not funny. And then on top of that, it's voiced by Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit.
Uh, this was the most sympathetic I felt for the people of Eternia. Um,
Mhm.
because this, I bring up the Narnia example again, but like the issue that sometimes modern fantasy movies have is when every character is some form of combatant. It's like harder to be like, oh no, they're all captured because they're all like soldiers. But this, you see some like children and civilians, which is something I felt like in the 2005 Narnia compared to older adaptations. Like everyone was like a warrior, and it's like I was used to like talking bunnies and nymphs being like, oh no, we want to be killed by this witch, and you're like, yeah, because she could kill you. Yeah, it's just hard to like feel for them and what's going on, and they are very mean, which is interesting if the whole point is that he's like the most empathetic person there. There's like an interesting plot, and like his kingdom's actually kind of fucked up,
And I
but
mean,
we're
I know
not gonna
this,
go there.
yeah, and I know that this is supposed to be a funnier movie, but making Skeletor, I don't find him very scary.
No.
I find
No.
Eveline way more scary because she's very suspicious because she clearly has something going on in the background.
Yeah.
But he is so face value, no pun intended, because he doesn't have a fucking face. But like the fact that he kills that person
Yeah.
and then they have that joke and it's the movie making fun of Skeletor. And so we're supposed to be like, ah, he's so ridiculous. But I'm like, then I don't take him seriously. I don't take his
Right.
Yeah.
threat, even though he did
Mhm.
just murder someone in front of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's cake and eating it too, that kind of thing. It's like you
It's
can't.
there's just too much going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where I think of if he was raised by the forest lesbians and they taught him to be
Yeah.
kind, and then we get like he reunites with his dad. I don't think his dad should have been redeemed. I think if his dad still always sucked, then it's like that really hits home that like there's a reason he is the chosen one. There's something special about him that's different from all these better warriors who lost the ideals, like they lost the heroic ideals they should be aspiring to.
Right.
There's a reason he's the Arthur of this Camelot, you know.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Okay, so they're just spent a lot of time around this campfire in this ship, but we get like a Northern Lights uh talking like Hunger Games,
Yes, it's
like who
giving
died
Hunger
today.
Games. Thank you so much for saying that. I thought that exact same thing. I was
Where
ready for the song to come up.
where he's like, I have the parents, you can have a reunion, just give me the sword. And he's like, well, I gotta go save him though. You can't give him the sword. And he's like, well, I'm just gonna fight him. And they're like, I guess we gotta go with you.
Hmm.
And he shows up. They show up pretty quickly to Snake Mountain, which the design, I guess, was based off one of the creator's kids. Not in this version, but in the original He-Man. Like his kid did a drawing like called Snake Mountain, and they're like, "Oh wow, this could be Skeletor's home."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And they show up, and we get this. This is again like I just kept thinking of like Aslan when he shows up to be killed by the monsters. I was like, I'm getting like a Jesus thing mixed with like the 1980s American masculinity that struggles with the concept of like Jesus dying, and like Jesus being a loser because he's like killed.
It's cuck behavior to get
Yeah.
killed.
So
It's cuck behavior to get crucified, to be
yeah,
honest.
so it's like the Homelander Jesus instead, you know.
Yes.
So he like shows up and they're taken to the dungeon straight away, and I'm like, what's your plan here, bro? And he shows up, Skeletor's like, I got your dad, and he's like, well, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, well, I don't play fair. Here are my minions. And you get a long fight scene. He leaves the sword unattended a lot, stresses me out. But he fights the minions. Bob.
Not to be confused with the little yellow banana guy.
They're like banana, and he's like, "Oh, I have the power."
Yeah,
That would be satisfying.
actually, it would be.
But he has an emotional burst. He has like an Elsa burst where he can't control his powers, and it breaks the wall, and it like kills his dad. Right?
Yeah,
but long enough for them to have
accidentally-
an emotional
Yeah.
reunion.
Yeah.
It broke his ribs, and so it's kind of like suffocating him. You know, he has a collapsed lung, so he's got
Yeah.
a couple minutes still left in him where he could be like, "No, I've always loved you. What do you mean I verbally abused you, emotionally abused you in front of everyone. What? No, I've always loved you. It's like,
That's
go
such
fuck yourself.
that's a boomer parent. It's like, I don't remember
Yes.
anything in your childhood. You were gone for 15 years. What are we talking
Yeah.
about?
It's like that's literally the excuse of like people who are parents whose children have been like, I'm completely disowning from you because
Yeah.
you're insane. And like, what do you mean I never did any of this to you?
Yeah.
I was actually a great parent. Thank you. I
Is
brought
there
you into this world. I can take you out of it.
yeah. Well,
Like
Adam took his dad out of it.
you brought me into this world. Now I'm going to take you out of it.
There was a point where they were all on top of him, and I was like, he was kind of like lying down at him, and I was like, is this like our Jesus moment? Like, because I was kept thinking of like the Aslan thing, and I was like, oh, are they gonna like capture him? But then he just like explodes. I was like, oh wait, I'm watching He-Man. But his dad dies, and is like, I always believed in you, except your whole life, but I didn't. Um, and Skeletor's like touching, but
But and
I
here's my issue with that is that like I guess uh if he hadn't have left Earth or left to go to Earth, if he had been raised by his father, he would have probably turned into his father, or he would have been so opposite, but they would
Mhm.
have never gotten along. So the fact that the dad gets like forgiven and like they get closure, I think is absolute horse shit.
Yeah.
I agree.
It didn't feel earned.
No.
I also wish I hate it's like I know you're distracted, but like hold the sword next to you as you do this. You spent
Yeah.
years looking for this sword.
Right.
Pull the sword next to you, buddy. Just but he's captured, he's deprogrammed, he gets his clothes back, thankfully, and they're all like, we're all captured. One thing I'll give this movie is it does feel like I used to play out very extravagant stories with my action figures and toys. And all these scenes feel like scenes I would have made with like you show up to where the good guys are. Oh no, all the
Mhm.
good guys are captured. Like, and we're all in the dungeon. Like if you had like a toy castle with like a dungeon, you put them all in the dungeon. It does capture that. And this is a
Hmm.
toy movie.
I I thought it was gonna give Lego Movie at the end. I thought we were gonna have like a turn where it's like, actually, this is a kid playing with He-Man figures, and this is the story they've come up with, but there's also another heartfelt story going on with the humans in that.
Yeah.
It
That would
didn't
have solved
happen.
all the problems if it was
Honestly,
that level of being stupid, and
yeah,
it would have been. I would have said, "Oh, okay. Well, this was all made up by some kid. Then it makes perfect sense."
yeah.
But he's like, actually, we all gotta rally together. I believe in Eternia. Also he's reunited with his mom. Yeah. And she recognizes
Underwhelming.
him, and
Yeah.
then they don't remember his name. He's like, actually, it's Adam. And I'm just like, again, not to, but like, people know the prince's name.
And they're
I
gonna.
know the names of the Prince of England. I don't even live there.
I also,
Even I know the princes of England.
I
William and
think,
Harry. Yeah.
I think that they would have a mythology for him as like this is the lost son of
Yeah.
Eternia.
That happens a lot
And
in
we talked about that with
fantasy,
like
in
with
history.
Anastasia and stuff like that,
Yeah. There
right?
was the opposer in the War of the Roses who was
But
like, I'm the Windsor, not, or somebody like
but
returned, you know?
even if it was like it was a negative mythology, it was like
He
that little
ran
fucker got
away.
off
Yeah.
easy. They would still know his name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Short-term memory, long-term memory, actually, from the people on
Rough.
this planet, bad.
Yeah. Now
They need more potassium.
he needed to do an Uma from Descendants type song, What's My Name? Or he could have had a Camila Cabello Cinderella, They're Gonna Know My Name song.
They're gonna sing from Anastasia Journey to
Journey
the
to the Past.
Past.
He's on a journey.
Journey to the
This
past.
is a musical
Beautiful.
podcast. Yeah.
It's one of my
Um,
favorite songs from Anastasia. Love
Beautiful,
that one.
beautiful.
I remember Alyssa did that at karaoke at one of our Halloween parties.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. When she was 2 years, she was Anastasia. Yeah.
Yeah, in my phone, her picture is a picture I took of her in my apartment as Anya
Yeah.
in the hat, and she had a little puka. It was
Oh
so
Yeah.
cute.
yeah, I
I love
remember
that
Yeah.
that.
photo.
So we're in the dungeon and they're like, he's using his HR seminar. They're like, seminar. He's like, no, we're a team and we're gonna talk about that. We have the power within ourselves to believe.
We have the power within ourselves to believe.
I'm
That's
just
a
saying
direct,
that.
no, I think that's a direct quote from the movie. I think you're right.
It's just like the kind of generic
Confounding.
stuff. But again, it's like I didn't even see him on Earth being particularly like kind. You think of
No.
like a movie, like you think of like a lot of Cinderellas where they kind of are like, look at all the times she's nice. Like the 2015 one, they really hammered in how nice she was.
The only time he interacts with humans is his roommate, and he's just on the defense
Yeah.
with that roommate.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is there's a person who's like sitting at his desk
Mm-hmm.
who's trying to have an actual conversation with him. He's ignoring this person.
Yeah.
That's not
Mhm.
nice. That's not respectful.
It's not empathetic.
That's not giving the powers within me.
Yeah. You could do it so easy. Like it's one of the easiest fantasy tropes, there's a beggar, he helps the beggar,
Oh,
you
and on
know.
that date, he was clearly hogging the entire time of the
Yeah.
date. He didn't ask her a question.
He could help an animal, like a struggling animal, help a kid.
What is his save the cat moment?
Yeah, he could have saved that cat, and
Right.
that's how they
Remember
were
that from screenwriting
reunited.
school?
Yeah. So it's like it's easy, especially like kindness is a very like easy to demonstrate trait because it is an interactive one. Um but maybe that's too woke. So the kindness just has to be nebulous. Um
Yeah, and he's
that's
not particularly a team player
no.
because in his workplace, and get it, I work corporate jobs,
Yeah.
I get it. But he was not invested in that seminar. He was basically ignoring his coworker, and then he was
He was looking
being
up swords
selfish.
and he was looking up swords
Yeah,
on the internet.
he was misusing company time, which is a fireable offense.
Yes.
And he would know that because he works in HR. But I just he's not a he's not demonstrated to be a good person. In fact, I would say he's relatively selfish on Earth, from what I can
Yeah.
tell,
Well,
Mhm.
that
and
is so
self-obsessed.
I don't want to get on this high horse or this is one of my soapboxes, getting on the soapbox. People do say I'm an empathetic person, but I have this thing where people talk about empathy all the time now because like kindness is kind of considered like too old fashioned or too feminine or too Christian or something. It's like we say empathy now, but like, and I'm not one of those the evils of empathy people. I'm not one of those crazy Christians who are
Yeah.
like, don't be empathetic, put people in camps. Um, it's just like because empathy is an emotional response.
Mm.
And so emotion is internal. Kindness is acted. Kindness is like a thing that you say or do. And so this biting the cat, kindness. Yeah. So it's just you can say, oh, this character is empathetic, even if we don't see it, because it's like, oh, it's all inside. He was really feeling for like what Tila was going through. But it's like but so people just throw it into things all the time now. Oh, this character's empathetic, but like you're not seeing it. And the
He's
reality
not
is
empathetic to the people of Eternia
no.
because he doesn't know what they've gone through and he
Mhm.
doesn't really understand it.
Yeah.
And we don't understand because they haven't really explained it. It's just like they're
He
in
doesn't
hiding.
he
It's
doesn't get
vague.
the scene in Mulan where she sees the village and the doll and is like, oh
Yeah.
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
Nope.
So it's like this within this genre of movie, this would actually be a pretty easy thing to establish. Um, but not in the Marvel movie genre, which I do think you're right, this pulls a lot from. I
Mhm.
think fantasy, yes, but I think the superhero, well, it can be done. Like I think like Superman, he saves a squirrel. Like they do a lot to show how
Right.
kind he is, including remembering people's names. We love that in movies now.
Mhm.
And he
Uh,
doesn't do that.
he
He's
doesn't do
literally
that.
giving Bella Swan. Year one
Yes.
Bella Swan.
I think the joke of, oh, he just called him Ram Man because he was 11. It's been a long time. He doesn't
Right.
remember. I think that works, but because
They
he
are
doesn't,
offended.
they are offended. Who wants to be called Fisto? But uh, he's like, you fist people. He's like, yeah, I fist people all the time. Uh,
Ugh.
but like, if he showed kindness in other scenes, then you get to keep the joke of he doesn't remember their names because he was a kid and it was a
Mhm.
long time ago.
Mm.
and keep this alleged trait that we're gonna get to. And I'm like, oh wait, we're getting here. Because they've just made fun of it up until now, and even now it's still kind of a joke. But he gets them to team up. They reprogram the robot. Don't kill me, and they shoot the stone, and they break the gates open, and they're free. And it's a slow-mo walk.
Yes.
Oh.
To is this
Masters
the Queen
of-
song?
Yeah.
Princes of the Universe. The robot is fine, but the fact that he has emotional resolution
With the
tied to
robot?
his protection, like in his like getting over his PTSD or working through his PTSD, is with the robot and not as much with his actual daughter, who he has that is weird.
Tila doesn't get to do that much.
No. So
No.
make her do stuff with her dad so that you can resolve that emotional conflict more seriously.
She really is the Beatrice in this Dante's Inferno. She's just a guide.
Yeah.
Or Paradiso. She's not an Inferno. Sorry to the Dante heads. So they escape, but Skeletor and Evelyn have gone to Eternia or Eternia
Castle
City,
Grayskull.
Castle Grayskull. Eternos is the city.
Because she's like, oh yeah, I can help you make this sword work for you. There's a spell I can do.
Because it doesn't
Was
work.
there a spell?
I think she's improvising.
I think she's lying. Yeah.
Because it doesn't work. He's like, oh, it's not working. And he's embarrassed and he threatens her.
You can't get it up.
It's because he's gay. And he's one of those guys who's gay and then abuses his wife about it.
It was giving that, wasn't it?
Yeah. His Republican staffer about it.
And at first it kind of felt like maybe she was into it, but then the second time I was like, oh no, she's not into this.
I thought she was into it the first time. Like, there was a shot where she seemed to be enjoying.
She was kind of, because it was on her arm, but then it's her throat, and it's like maybe he overstepped a boundary that maybe they had already established.
Yeah, that's
it's
important.
Giving
In the kink
allegedly Jared
community.
Leto.
Yeah.
So I was like, this ritual is maybe a trap.
That's what I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to try to take all the power.
Yes, she should. She's a femme fatale witch.
Sick,
yeah.
But
she's Evelyn.
Because she's evil.
Yeah. And was her name Lynn?
But she's a girl.
She was like,
yeah, she was like, you know what?
Or her name was Evelyn, and she goes, no.
No, I'm gonna be evil in. I want to convey my evilness in my name.
Yeah. She started as a recording artist.
Say it.
Yeah.
Because if you have to say it, it's true.
I like that they had to explain how the other characters got their goofy toy names, you know, like Ram Fist or whatever.
Yeah.
And yet they made no attempt. They made no attempt to explain why this guy's name is Skeletor and why her name is Evelyn. It's one of those other decisions where you think, well, why are we even spending time trying to explain why they have goofy names?
Yeah.
And I was gonna try to, make a funny comment at you and being like, oh, well, it's obvious why he's called Skeletor, but also that's the joke. He was like, well, you're Ram Man because you ram stuff and you're a man.
Right.
So it's like, it would be the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Skeleton.
Yeah. Maybe it's because Skeletor, that's his actual name, but they take those names because they now have affection for Adam. Maybe that's what it is.
No one thought about this much.
Yeah.
They
I think our call, we've been on here, 2 hours? I think we put in more thinking.
No one thought about this. They thought, how can we force people to sit in the theater for 2 hours when they have to go to the bathroom and they want to go other places, but instead we're going to torture them by having all these lame jokes one after another for almost 3 hours.
Where he's like, my name was He-Man in the gay when I was playing my drawings. They're like, ha ha ha. Your name was Warrior Goddess, because that was an early version of Tila, the action figure.
Right.
But why would he have a weird name for her? Because she's his friend.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's reunited with the cat too. See, we even forgot it. Which if I had been kidnapped and sent to another planet and reunited with my pet, that'd be a highlight. That and my mom, that'd be a lot bigger deal.
The cat asks for consent to lick him.
Yeah. I
I
love
was like,
That was
that.
consent.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy Pride. Yeah. Love the cat. Wish it was in it more. The cat should have been in the movie the whole time.
Yeah,
I
because
have
in the
no
in
thoughts
the
on the cat.
in the in the in the cartoon, the cat's basically like He-Man's horse.
Yeah.
Like he's always on top of that cat.
Hmm.
And what's the cat's name?
Uh,
Uh,
Cringer.
Cringer, right? And then he turns into Battle Cat in
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
when he gets this armor, and it's horrible.
It it's a it's trying to give Jasmine and Raja, but it's not
Mm,
because
mm,
Jasmine and Raja don't spend all that much time together in the Aladdin movie, but the small amount of time that they do, it's like,
right.
yes, you understand it. The cat is combative to 11-year-old Adam. So that's the only time we see the cat, and then
Yeah.
now we
Right.
see the cat. It's like,
Yeah, that's another example of where they're just saying, well, people who know this and love this will see the cat
yeah,
and we won't have to work at all to
Yeah.
exactly.
explain it. It's just
Yeah.
a cat that
We
everybody
just need to
knows.
put it in there and we just need a reason that it's there. Great. And we've done our job.
And they didn't want to animate the cat.
True, which
And
Yeah.
I
I
understand.
understand, but we have this robot played by Kristen Wiig. Why can't he run into the cat out in the wild?
I feel like you can use the scrap the robot, pun intended, and use that money, the Kristen Wiig investment money, funnel that to the cat.
Because that is like an iconic part of the of
Yeah,
Is the
huge
He-Man.
robot
part of it.
iconic?
No,
No, I don't even think it's in the I don't think it's in the cartoon, is it?
I think
Or
it's
is
a
it like a
deep cut
side?
character. I think there's like
Yeah, it's
nine
from like the
bajillion
comics or
characters. There's a
something.
guy
Yeah.
that's a bee, you know.
Right.
There's a bee? Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, justice for the cat. I
And
think
I love
more,
cats.
yeah,
Famously, you saw me toss mine
yeah.
off the bed here, but
I
you
think
know,
more male characters need animal sidekicks, and that's my men's rights position. I think they're giving them all to the women now. Aladdin had a boo.
yeah,
Hercules had Pegasus. He
True.
can have Cringer.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
more time
with
to
Cringer.
with
Yeah.
Cringer.
Yeah. I mean, I love, Philip and his horse, Samson. We love
Yeah,
a hero and his horse.
Mhm.
Perseus and Bobo.
Boobo,
Bubo. Wow,
you
how
show some
dare
damn
I?
respect.
Yeah. Um,
Also, anytime the sorceress shows up in bird form a couple times. She's just
yeah.
kind of flying around. But anytime I saw it, I went, Boobo, I went, no, that's a different
No,
movie.
different movie. They show up to the castle to
Different
crash.
himbo movie.
Different himbo movie. Swords and Sandals really has been a himbo season. They show up to crash the ritual. Man at Arms and Roboto fight the soldiers, including Jawman, and he defeats him. And that was the old me, but this is the new me. He's in a new era. Uh, and then he went through AA, I guess. Sometimes
I,
if you don't have time to go to therapy, you just blow up your trauma. Yeah. And then Tila and He-Man and Cringer crashed the ritual. I loved this was the most like this is how I would have just played it as the kid, where the cat fights the big monster and the girls fight each other and the
Right.
boys fight each other. Like it did feel
yeah.
like
Yeah.
slamming your action figures together. Uh,
Hmm.
and Skeletor breaks the sword. Tila can resist Evelyn's magic with her willpower, I guess.
Yeah. Well, because she says something that like
Oh, you're good at this. There,
she
you
like
have
she like says something that like triggers her.
yeah,
I don't remember what it was. Well, if you would stop wrestling me, you could sit here.
but he breaks the sword, and it's like you don't have the power. You're a loser. Uh, well, because he's still. Has he He-Man'd out yet? No, he's
Uh,
still in his pink outfit.
yeah.
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 So he grabs the sword, but then Skeletor shoots purple magic at him and it blows up the sword. It made me think of Lord of the Rings. Isildur's
All hope is
blade.
lost.
All hope is lost. The sword is broken. And he stabs him with the broken sword.
Skeletor stabs
Yeah,
Adam. Yeah.
Adam, and he's like, "You're a loser, and you're gonna die."
And this is where the Nike product placement happens because
Oh,
he like gets into Adam's
Oh, his like
memory.
yeah,
subconscious. I
yeah,
forgot to mention that he uses the advice from Dolph to rally everyone. Like,
right.
look at the front's just a facade. You got to come from the back. Hit him
See?
from behind. Yeah.
It's a homoerotic reference. Like what is happening? Um, okay, the thing I have to say about Dolph Lundgren, it was I think it was a lame cameo. Like they could have done
Oh,
much better. And it was really
yes.
early.
And it was
Um,
distracting. It totally threw me out because I said, "Oh, there's Dolph Lundgren. What's he doing here?"
I feel like it would have
Oh, he
been
was
better if
gone.
he was like on Eternia
I thought he
and
was
he
gonna
was
be
just
the
like,
dad.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, something like that that would have made more sense. Instead, he was just like working out in the gym. But anyway, so yeah, Skeletor gets into like his subconscious, kind of goes through some memories or sort of like reshape some of his memories. So you see his roommate, you see
On the
him
date.
on the
On the
date.
date, he's like whipping him around in the restaurant. He's throwing weights at him in the gym. He's like, "You're a
Yeah,
beta cuck. I'm dripped out as hell in this
in
outfit."
this Nike outfit at your
Yeah.
local Nike store today.
Yeah, and Hannah's
Um,
buying it.
and
Yeah.
I'm buying it. I mean, the purple is kind of sick, but
And he's in the office with his boss, and that's where he's like, you think, because earlier he's like that warrior with the blonde flowing hair and the tanned muscles. Ooh. And then here
and says
he's
something
like
about a shiny sword swinging between his
between your
legs.
legs. Yeah,
And
you
I'm
think
like,
with those ribs and the sword between your legs, and I'm like, he's gay.
what are we doing?
What's going on? Yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, he's supposed to be gay. He's a gay coded villain. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah,
And they're playing on the homoeroticism of He-Man. Um,
I don't know.
and that's all I can say. And that's how Sue
Anyway,
sees it. Yeah.
so then we get out of this, and
He's in his room. He's
yeah,
like dead in his room, surrounded by the pictures. His roommate's like, "Oh, here you dropped one." But he's back to his loser life, or is he just in a hell of his own brain?
it's like a limbo state. This is
Yeah.
the King's Cross station, if you will, of the Harry Potter
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but yeah, sh the sorceress shows up in bird form and then she becomes human form, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's like
you've got the
Dorothy,
power.
the power's been inside you all along.
Yeah, you had those shoes, you could have clicked your heels that whole time. You could have done it.
And this is where she's like, because you're so empathetic. Like we've had warriors before, but you have the kindness. And I was like, wow, this would be great. This would be great if the movie had built to that at all.
Also, him as a child, not that the kid was bad or anything, but like there's nothing kind about him. He just wasn't traditionally masculine.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't good at fighting, but he was 11. He was definitely the youngest kid on that squad.
They were
Like,
just shortcutting. To me, it was like you're shortcutting. Oh, he's not super macho. Obviously, he's kind of empathetic. He's a nice guy. But it's like I need to see. And you had this fucking cat the whole time
yep.
that he could have been nice to. Like maybe that's how he gets Cringer. He helps this lost kitten. To be fair, I don't need any more prologue. But like,
But maybe the prologue could have been different, completely
yes,
different.
it's just like you had like this ending makes sense, but you just didn't work to get to the ending. I
Yeah.
think I would have kept
Right.
I would keep this ending, but why? And because if his kindness got him here the whole time, then it makes sense that, at the end of the day, kindness will never reach Skeletor. He's beyond
Mhm.
helping. He needs to be killed.
Mhm.
Which there's a lot that could be too woke, that could be fascist, it depends on how you
Right.
look at it.
Yep.
But
So
that
then would
he
it be bipartisan at that point?
bipartisan,
Everyone would interpret it the way they want to see it,
yeah.
but
I mean, I think that is how it's meant to be.
mhm.
You know, it could be Trump to the left, it could be immigrants and brown people to the right.
Mhm.
That they don't, so maybe there's that danger in that idea. I don't know. But sometimes people are just evil. And that's where I'm like, in an age of constant backstories where Gaston has war trauma and, Corella's mom was killed by Dalmatians, I think sometimes, as we learn from looking at life,
And
some
she's not
people,
just a woman who wants fancy
yeah,
furs.
sometimes people are just evil and mean and they are selfish. And
Yeah.
that's the crime. And we
They
can all
don't
be
have the capacity for love or
yeah.
kindness.
And we can all be selfish. And that's where there's the humanity is that we all have the desire to be selfish. But some people, they're not trying to control it.
Yeah.
Boom. The Jeff Bezoses, Uh, and so he resurrects. He does a full Aslan Jesus
Hmm.
where he resurrects and then kicks the ass of his opponent. Uh, because that scene that they got from the Bible where Jesus beats up the devil. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's where Aslan eats the witch's face. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
And he's like, oh, is there a reason you're like this? And Skeletor's like, because I can. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you and punch you in the face till you're dead. I've
Yeah.
been pulling my punches, and I resurrected from the dead, and I summoned my loincloth and my muscles. And Evelyn just kind of sneaks out, which is what makes me be like, she was planning something.
Yeah.
A sequel.
Yeah, she's planning a
Yes.
sequel. And so she sneaks out. This reminded me, The Witch Sneaking Away really did remind me of Oz the Great and Powerful cinematic classic.
Ugh,
That was also setting up for a sequel that it never got. Like I'm
yeah.
feeling this movie, based on his box office numbers, might meet a similar fate. But he defeats Skeletor. Eternia is saved. Happy ending. He always had the power within him. And now they're all laughing, ho, 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 which is a reference to the cartoon and how they
Hmm.
laughed.
Mhm.
We get all the nicknames. He's wearing the pink shirt that Adam wore in the cartoon. Which again, there's something fun with like this character's He-Man and he likes to wear pink but America's in such a gender fuck. I don't know if we could ever get there, but he it's implied that he has to go save people all the time now. He's like a Superman and he Clark Kent's where he runs away to change, but
Right.
they all know and they're like, does he think we forgot? And I'm like, that
Well,
that can't be a joke. Like, why does he do
No.
this? Is it
no.
because I know he's a himbo, but he's not actually that dumb.
I think is it maybe he's embarrassed but it's not explained.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
I think it's just a reference to the show because in the show, no, those characters don't know Adam is
oh,
He-Man.
interesting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but they're making fun of that aspect of the show that how could they not know Adam was? But you'd only get that joke if you saw the show or knew that that's what they were
Mm,
Yeah.
spoofing.
But it's like
right.
I get the joke, but it doesn't make sense.
No, and that makes no
In this
sense.
version, it's
No.
not.
Yeah, how he could
And
be that stupid.
And
and
just
this
saying,
is
wow, that doesn't make sense isn't a joke. It isn't 2004.
no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think something we learned from the 2010s version of Clash of the Titans, you better be real careful when you make fun of your original source material, your original IP. If you're remaking
Mhm.
it, tread lightly
Yeah.
because I will be there to make fun of you making fun of that previous IP.
Yeah. So he runs off and we get a couple. Oh, I think Duncan's like, we can talk about our feelings but he can't say feelings, whatever.
Awful.
Who
That's not
cares?
funny.
Awful.
Uh yeah. So we're setting up for a sequel. We get the queen being like, she's still out there. She'll find her way. Adora. We see a clip of her. There's also the little wizard hat alien from the show is
Oh
like,
yeah.
what we learned is that muscles aren't everything.
Okay, yes, I do
Yeah.
remember this.
Did we learn that? Unclear. I wish we had. Love that
Wish
lesson.
I
Wish
had
we
learned
had.
anything.
Yeah. In the age of looks maxing, that would be a nice lesson. Don't do meth to get more muscular. And then the last post-credit scene, Evelyn gets the skull and is like, maybe I like you better than this, or you've looked better, or something like that. And she takes the skull away, setting up for a
I missed that
sequel.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Holding out for a hero, holding out for a She-Ra. We'll see. Maybe this movie will do really well in its following weeks.
Or it'll do very well overseas, and that will give them enough incentive to bankroll another
Yeah.
one.
And to be fair, I'd watch the sequel.
You would.
Yeah, I like him. I have AMC A-list, so I gotta use it.
I got to use it. If that's the only thing that came out, gotta use
Yeah.
it.
Um, I mean, there were other movies I did want to see, but I like that's the thing is I know I was very hard on this movie. I enjoyed it. It's just very frustrating that like not that much would could be different in this movie could be that much more better. Like it could be better with a very few changes. But it's like just the corporate hellscape of how hard it is to make a movie and how many voices need to have their thumb in the pie means
Yeah.
that you get these kind of half,
Half baked.
yeah,
It's a bunch of half baked ideas strung
Mhm.
together. And
yeah. And a
I
lot of them are
guess
good ideas. I'm like, oh, I would love that
they have
movie.
something to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess like just to kind of reiterate something that I think we've been saying a lot lately, or anytime we really kind of get into like something that's confusing from a writing perspective,
Yeah.
it's like we're not blaming the writers because they're just there to do a job. It really comes up to the studios and the people who are
Yeah.
funneling information downward that it befuddles a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's it's hard to make a movie, but they made one,
They did.
and it was this.
Uh, how do we feel?
Well, I don't do feelings,
Yeah,
so
you don't do feelings.
We know.
How do we feel about our hero and villain? Um,
I mean, I don't feel anything for any of these characters, really, which
wow.
is what sucks. I know, again, I
You,
don't do feelings. I don't have empathy. I don't have empathy. I
yeah.
think the only people I have empathy for is Tila and Duncan. Because again, I think that's like the strongest emotional pull because it's from like
Otherwise,
it's very grounded. It's
yeah.
PTSD and the family conflicts that
Mhm.
come from that.
Otherwise, you're like the girl in chorus line. You feel nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But and I'm always saying that.
And you're
But
always saying
and I'm listing them.
that.
But it's like
You're listing the feelings you don't have. Yeah.
he I don't have any empathetic connection to him because he just wants to get the
Home.
sword and the power. Well, he gets home, but he wants to like save his home. But I'm like, but what does that mean? Because like these people don't like you.
Yeah, maybe
Why
this
do I want to
home.
root for
Mm.
you to live here and save these people who don't give a fuck about you?
Yeah. It's not like a beautiful lost home.
So I don't really root for what he's trying to do other than it's like, well, yeah, we got to get Skeletor out of here.
He's trying to
But
be
it's
a
like,
man. He's trying to be a protector. It's that idea with the no interrogation.
but I'm like, protecting whom? These people don't want your protection. Actually, they can protect themselves in a lot of ways that you can't provide. But then
Mm.
because you have special power, you're special boy, you show up, you do special thing, you win. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I feel like it's, I'm distracted by stuff that are like by potential emotional storylines that are more grounded than loosey goosey, this is a plot point type of stuff. I think that's where I fall. And same with like Skeletor is like, I'm fine with his motivation being like, I'm evil, so I'm doing this, sure. But up against Adam, it's like, well, what Adam has a fantasy version of Eternia, but it's like everyone was always mean to him, and they're still mean to him now when he comes back. It's like, it's not that I want Skeletor to win, but it's also like, I don't think Adam needs to be here. Go find a different planet.
Yeah.
People who actually want to hang out with you.
I think sometimes when a movie is about very basic concepts, like good and evil, masculinity, femininity, deficient masculinity, it then has to define those concepts, which are actually things that humans fight about a lot and
Yes.
discuss a lot. And so if you're trying to make a movie that appeals to everyone, evil people can sort of agree on what evil, especially like fantasy evil is. It's like killing and murder and dark magic.
Right.
But like what is good? Is it the monarchy? Is it, like charity work? Is it strong masculinity? Like every movie sort of has to, especially ones that are about good and evil, have to do that. And you'll have a movie like Narnia that chooses to define good as this very like Christian thing, or you'll have a Sleeping Beauty, which kind of is similar, but like a little more watered down Americana, like it's pretty people in love and like your fun lesbian aunts, it's this kind of like being nice and kind and pretty is like what good is. And what is good in this movie, it doesn't really want to say, but I guess it's like traditional masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes him good. But that's such a hard thing to define also, so it's like you put something hard to define on top of something hard to define, and it's
hard to define.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to see and feel
Yeah,
visually.
absolutely.
But I still like him. I root for
Yeah.
him. I like this character. I like this actor. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm invested, but yeah, is Eternia a place worth saving? And I think that often can come into the masculinity as a protector and the fact that a lot of these protectors hate the places they protect,
Wow. Yeah.
or feel rejected by them. That's why, even though this movie is dumb, it latches onto concepts that are complicated. So now I'm thinking so much as I watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think, T?
I don't care about Adam. I don't want to follow Adam. I couldn't get into his story at all because they didn't they treated him as a joke too much for me to ever think what are we who are we saving? Why should we care about him? What's has is he went through again a traumatic experience. Where's his flaws? Like he's a joke character. He's a fish out of water. And that's all they seem to be interested in. I liked the actor. He did a very good job with the material.
Yeah.
I believe him as He-Man, but I still don't feel like I know who He-Man is. Like, what is he a Thor type? Is he what? And I just got the sense throughout this that okay, these people may have liked these properties, but they don't want to really treat the property with enough respect or authority to really characterize them as people I would want to care about. If you're asking me to care about someone for 2 hours and 40 minutes, they better be pretty dynamic. They better be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Hannah, which is shocking that
That's a first.
the more interesting person in this and the relationship is between Tila and Duncan because that's a
Yeah.
human one-on-one.
Yeah.
There's no human one-on-one for Adam. He's got that obnoxious roommate. He's got the annoying boss. There's no personal touch with him, and even his mother. You would think, well, his mother is there. Why isn't he more? Why isn't he?
She's
Doesn't he want to get back to
stoned.
his mother?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's like I like the drawing the pictures of the friend of those guys, Ram Man and Fish Guy. Who cares? Where I like, isn't he thinking about his mother getting back to his mother like that, or his? We know the father's annoying, but the mother at least.
He
So-
has that cute drawing of them, which is
Right.
the moment I felt
Right.
the most for
Right.
him.
That's true.
Right.
There's that. But I forgot all about that until you just said that.
Yep. Same.
Because you have all this other garbage going on.
And we
simplified
his
version of
childhood.
this that we could get to, that this movie taxed my patience and it really tested my patience because I really wanted to get into I wanted to know who these characters were. What is this world like? And to me, there was nothing I hadn't seen before in this movie that is that unique or different. I mean, there's Shazam, there's Thor, there's even that Dungeons and Dragons stuff going
Yeah.
also based. It was Cullen, we used the word frustrating. I was frustrated and annoyed because I really wanted to enjoy this, but they don't play it as as human beings. They play it as these weird caricatures of what. It's almost like no one's ever seen a human being who wrote this. Like they don't know how human beings talk, how human beings relate to one another.
Because the
Yeah.
only emotional connection he has is to his dad, but
Mm,
it's what we see him leave the planet. He has been emotionally abused in front of people by his father,
mm,
Yeah.
and then his dad pushes him away to save them, and then that's it. And then they have this closure at the end. But it's like we don't, it is kind of like an alien wrote this. It's like he
right.
had a dad who was mean to him because sometimes dads are like that. And then it turns out, oh, the dad was mean to him because he wanted to make him tough and protect him, which is a thing that has happened in other movies, but we have so little time with them to
Mm,
establish that and make that be anything else is like,
Yeah, I think of like if I think of a similar movie that's trying to make a character who allegedly is like just heroic and kind and brave. You think of Superman that just came out. I think
mhm.
of the 2015 like Cinderella. I think of like those characters have like these pivotal relationships with their parents. Like Superman has like the whole
Right.
thing with the clip of his parents,
Mhm.
and then the what he finds out the clip actually means, and where he actually maybe learned things more from his the Kents on Earth. And you have Cinderella living by the marketable maxim that her mom gave her, and like her relationship with her dad, and like how she's clinging on to that relationship to fuel her. So it's like I think there's similar characters in a lot of movies, but like the jokeness is kind of getting in
Mhm.
the way. And yeah, I think it's because he's on Earth and we don't do enough with it. And yeah, it's just also like, why are the parents alive and yet so unimportant to him? What about the cat? What about, I think the movie loses sight of him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so we do too. And it's
mm,
because the intro is so long. I think that we lose the middle of the movie where all these things could be worked
Mhm.
on. As we did this super long intro to be like, look at my magical kingdom. I'm like, start with him. He's an orphan being bullied. And he looks at that drawing, and like that drawing is what's motivating him. And maybe it wasn't as perfect as he remembered because it changed because he was a kid. Um,
or I like what you said that if it starts with him on Earth, he's an orphan or he has these new parents or whatever, and so people don't believe him, and then he gets what he wants and he gets transported to his planet and turns out
mhm.
so then we are also on board too. It's like we can learn Eternia with him
Yeah,
for the first time, and yeah, it or if he has like a vague memory of having left the planet,
yeah,
not something that
Mhm.
is it's not even a well, I guess it is a memory because he is narrating it, but it's something that is so fully formed. But if it's like vague little bits and pieces,
uh-huh.
we already mentioned Prince of
Mhm.
Egypt a little bit, but
Yeah,
he has little bits and pieces of his before being in the reeds.
yeah,
If it's something like that, yeah, it's
yeah.
the whole
So,
structure of this movie. Actually, maybe even the structure of the movie
mhm.
is like
Yeah.
one is getting rid of the prologue.
Yeah, because it's if he sees Tila and it's like, oh my gosh, you were my best friend growing up. You always protected me, and now she's annoyed with him. Then we feel the like, oh, the letdown.
Yeah, yeah.
You feel the reward of getting to go. You get the letdown. So if we want to do this Earth prologue, I think we got to start in Earth. We can't have fantasy prologue, Earth
Mm.
prologue.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's too much. Yeah. Uh, so Hannah, was that your fantasy? Is that an
Well,
adventure you'd want to live out? Is it a movie you liked?
okay. I liked this movie in the sense that I let it wash over me. I had fun looking at the visuals. I texted you guys and said I'm feeling very strong in my bisexuality. Everyone in this movie is hot.
Yeah.
Um, but I was very unsatisfied by many moments in the film. And so while I was watching it, I was like, I wanted something different to happen, which happens to me a lot in movies. But so I ended up not liking this movie as a movie, but I like it as sort of like a concept, I guess. Um, but I also think it's visually really nice. I think it looks
Yeah.
really clean.
Yeah.
I even think the CG looks pretty good. The
I
action sequences are
loved
nice.
how there's like the castle that was like so cathedraly, and you had like the griffins and unicorns and dragons on the wall, and then in
Yeah.
Skeletor's fortress you have like the bone versions, which is
Yes.
so like kid good evil fantasy, but like in the best way.
Yeah. So I think like the aesthetic of the movie is really cool. I thought the acting was really good on pretty much everyone. I didn't
Yeah.
really feel like anyone was doing, except for the roommate. The roommate just felt really out of place.
Yeah. And
And
they bring him
the
back at the end and he's like, wow, this is real.
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, I don't
T
care.
going like,
no.
that's how I
Oh,
felt too. I was
no.
just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. So there are things I liked about it, but like as like an actual movie, like as the story, I don't like it. Um, and I don't think I would want to go on this venture because everyone in Eternia kind of sucks. So
Mm. T, was this your fantasy?
What do you think? I,
like I
I
loved it.
I was so disappointed because I read the synopsis. I think, okay, this is a story that I'd be interested in. It's sprawling. There's a whole mythology to it. But first of all, I'm tired. I'm tired of movies that are 2 hours and stop making me sit there
And you should
that
say it.
long. I
Hmm.
don't want to sit there that long in those crummy seats with the babies screaming, people sneezing and coughing that long. I don't want to be there. Even if Jaws, even if they did a Golden Girls movie that was 2 hours and 40 minutes, I couldn't sit through it. It's too long for me.
Well,
Especially,
the rest of the
es-
target audience also wouldn't be able to sit through it either. So they
true,
would have to split it up into like three separate things. There'd be a couple 10-minute intermissions so everyone could go to the bathroom.
especially with these awful, awful jokes. Look, I'm a hard laugh. I don't want anyone to be funnier than I am. So to have so to have this, if you're asking me, is this movie itself my fantasy? No. However, from having looked at some of the other media in this IP, I would watch the cartoon again. I didn't like the 80s movie, but I liked the other things that I've seen. But this for me was so overlong and yet half baked. The there was for me it was a nothing movie. There was a possibility of being something more interesting. It had a really interesting, unique concept that message it was trying to convey, but it fell back on lame, low-hanging fruit, to bring back a term that I learned when we were in Boston. Uh, and I don't think I would. I remember when I saw that Dungeons and Dragons movie. I didn't know anything about it, but I remember leaving the theater and thinking, oh, that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. This I remember leaving, running to the bathroom, coming out, and
Because you're
saying
like,
to
I have to use the bathroom so bad.
my cousin, I don't really want to watch that again. If I'm basing on do I want to go on this journey again, meaning watch this movie again? No, I don't want to do that again. But would I be interested in watching some of this other He-Man IP? Yeah, I might want to check out some of the other stuff of it. So this movie, no, not my fantasy. But the franchise, perhaps.
Yeah, it's tough because, I love him. I love
Hmm.
her.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the movie when I was watching it. It just made me think a lot. And I
Yes.
felt like I wasn't supposed to be like I felt like I was getting dumber. I felt like the adults like cheering and clapping around me were
Oh,
dumb. Not
oh,
to I feel elitist, but I was just like they're just clearing because it's like it's the thing, and I'm like, but what does the thing mean?
right, right.
Like yes, I like a lot of things from my childhood, but there's also like a meaning to some of them. I was just like, is this just blank? I don't know. It felt like I think when you said I like it as a concept, not as the movie it is this I would file. I think it's much more watchable than I would file it similar to like the Snow White reboot of 2025, where it's like a version exists that is good somewhere in the multiverse. Like there's things in this movie that are good. You could give me these building blocks. I could make a good movie out of it. But the corporate powers that be, the
Yeah.
Amazons and the Disneys
Mhm.
and the this have made it to this cursed half form Quasimodo. You know, like it's like it's there. It's so and I want to like it, but it just needs to make a little more sense.
Yeah.
And there's a version that works. And I think it's because people give a lot of notes on the beginning of movies. And so sometimes you can get a really bloated act one and a really fast act two. The next thing we know, we're in act three.
Mhm.
And it's good because I was ready to be done once we were getting into act three. I was like, we can't have a long act two, but the act two should have been longer and act one should have been shorter. We didn't need a 20-minute prologue. Um, yes, but someone's like, well, why do we care about Eternia? And they're like, oh, because we're going to show it to you. But the answer should be because he cares about Eternia.
Yes.
I'm pointing to myself. I'll be He-Man. No, like he needs to care about Eternia. Is this a journey I want to live out? I'm gonna say yes. Who hasn't wanted to be the chosen one at some point? I want to have, rippling muscles and locks and abs
I'm gonna
and
be honest, Cullen. I was
yeah.
kind of like, I was like, you kind of look like him. You do. Like, you're giving hunky, and I'm
Thank you.
loving it.
Thank
So,
And I
you.
look like Skeletor, right? Right, Hannah?
no, you look
Okay.
like, who's back there?
Fisto,
Wham
yeah.
Man.
Fisto. I look like that
Yeah,
Slackjaw
man.
guy.
Yeah. There, okay, the line where he was like, that sword between your legs, that sounded like something T would say to me.
On one of our walks.
The fucking
Yeah.
sword between your
Yeah.
legs.
Like if like he had a couple and he was like, he'd just be like, where's
No.
that handsome man? Yeah.
Oh, that is so
Well, I've
you.
told this story, of course, before. When I first met Cullen, I thought he was a model. If- So yeah, you do give
Yeah.
off He-Man vibes a little bit there, Colin.
Mhm.
If we were in the same city, that could be our Halloween costume.
Colin sent
Love.
me a photo. This is not anything to do with He-Man, but it's good. Of Judge Judy dressed very glamorously. Do you remember this, Colin?
Yeah.
And I said to Colin, "Oh, that's going to be my Halloween costume this year." Dressed as a very glamorous Judge Judy.
I love it. I love it. So that's He-Man, Masters of the Universe, a movie with a lot to unpack. Happy Pride. Do you want to, before we go, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on.
Oh, thank you. It's good to see you, Colin.
Good to see you too.
Oh, and Hannah.
And
Oh yeah, Heather.
Heather.
Yeah.
And
Triggered.
tell everyone about your pod, Obscure Obsessions.
Let's see. We're I'm
Oh
Parrot
God.
Salesman.
Great start.
We're on season 6 now, and
Damn.
we're plowing along.
Happy
Uh,
Pride, yeah.
Happy Pride, and you can follow us on Instagram at Obscure Pod at and on Twitter. And we have a whole slew of obscure, underappreciated, or lesser known movies to talk about. In every episode, we choose a different one, and we discuss these movies as if they were great works of art, which most of the ones that we focus on are not. So far this season talked about a wonderfully terrible Jaws ripoff called Tentacles, which is about a giant squid, which you have to be
Mm.
very careful with how you type that into Google, because if you misspell that, you're going to get a totally different movie. We talked about one of my favorite films called Land Before Time 4, Journeys Through the Mist, which is the fourth Land
Oh,
Before Time
I remember
movie.
that one. Yeah.
Because you did
Uh,
call it Land Before Time 4.
yeah,
Hmm.
Land Before Time
It's the
4. It's
fourth,
the fourth
famously
one.
the second one, even though they call it
Yeah,
number 4.
and we've got a couple others, fun ones headed down the road. And as I say, we choose a different obscure movie, we analyze it, talk a little bit about it, and sometimes we try to advocate for it if it's a movie we think that the audience might be kind of snooty about, like Hannah. We try to advocate for something that might be good about it. So you can find us on Instagram at ObscurePod, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else in the world people are listening to podcasts. Don't ask me where they are, I just know I click on Spotify when my cousin says it's up, and I say okay, and I listen to it. So it's me and my cousin, and you can follow us there. And thank you guys for having me on to promote a little bit and
Yeah.
to talk about a movie I had no interest in beforehand that you guys made me more interested in because I knew we were going to talk about it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, are you gonna potentially do any He-Man properties on your
No,
podcast now?
no, because neither my
What?
cousin and I just did not. That's why I watched that Dolph Lundgren one because the people who made that movie made some really awful movies that we've talked about before. They made
Canon movie tales,
Yeah,
right?
Cannon,
Canon, yeah.
Golan and Globus. They made the terrible Superman 4. They made a wonderfully atrocious Sylvester Stallone movie about arm wrestling called Over the Top, which you haven't seen that. And if you're a fan of arm wrestling, the
Is
whole movie,
anyone?
the whole movie is about him driving to go to a arm wrestling competition with his son. We talked about that I think in season 3. But so we thought we might look at it, but it's not obscure enough, and it's not bad enough. I mean, it's bad, but it's too good for our purposes. So
Mm,
I doubt it.
mm. Well,
That's all
you
I have to say
can.
about that.
Great. Well, you can be sure to check them out for serious. But you can follow us on Instagram. We are at Not My Fantasy Pod. You can also, you're listening to this now, but if you have never checked us out on YouTube, hi, hello. You should do that. And what can they do, Cullen?
They can smash that like button like He-Man wants to smash me, you know.
Yeah, so or you can ram it like Ram Man would, or
Yeah,
you can
fist.
fist it like
Fisto,
Fisto would.
Yeah,
Hannah,
I mean,
or
you are
we could even talk about the you could throw
shove it in a
neck.
locker
You could
like
throw neck
Dion
like mecha neck or tech neck.
Mechanic.
Tech neck, anyone? So
Giraffe Man. I wish they called him Giraffe Man because he had a long
oh,
neck like a giraffe. That's what I thought he was going to be called, but my writing was not up to the level of the writers of this Mattel
No.
the
property, unfortunately.
18,000 writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so also get in the comments who are you going for as Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick your Halloween costume.
Should I go as Judge Judy in her judicial outfit or her in her party outfit? Highest make a vote, and the
We
most
should do a
likes.
poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a
Love that.
poll, and I will
Yeah.
go either as Judge Judy in her
Okay.
judicial robes or in her "We're Out on a Town with Judy"
On the
outfit.
town with Judy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to a more formal event, perhaps you could, dress it up a little bit,
Well,
but
I
do
have dressed
both.
up. I have dressed up as well. You were there. I dressed up as Dorothy as Cher, Dorothy Zbornak as Cher.
Yes.
Yes.
So hey, I'm cool with my.
I actually think that's your photo in my phone.
You're in my phone as Gloria Steinem, and
Sounds
I
about right.
had Cullen as Fozzie Bear in my phone because we always talked about Muppets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good times.
Good
Yeah.
times. You can follow me on Instagram at Cullen Ever After, and Swords and Sandals Summer continues with potentially there are two options of what could be coming next. Potentially a Deep Cut Pride special,
Mhm.
or a bit of a departure from form. We'll be talking about Epic the Musical in preparation for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which is a musical that was started on TikTok and was kind of made entirely
Not
like
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Epic the
Epic
Musical
the
started on
Musical. Yes.
TikTok.
Started, it was started on TikTok. Yeah, Christopher Nolan started making this on TikTok. It was like it got popular on TikTok. They produced a whole musical with different albums, and animatics, and it exists in this very like new space where I'm not really sure how it would be staged. It only really could exist in its form on the internet, but it's really fun. And I think it's a very interesting way to approach the Odyssey. I do think a lot of people might be seeing Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey with only knowledge from that musical.
Fascinating.
Interesting.
Yes. So I think it's a very worthwhile look at the Odyssey. So one of those two will most likely be coming next.
Yeah.
And at some point, yeah, our episode on Big Liz Pod about Pacific Rim will be being released,
Yeah.
including us watching the movie, discussing the movie. A wild time. But in the meantime, happy Pride, everyone. You have the power. I don't know why, but you do.
Because Marina Baccarin said so.
She did. And I've always said that. And I listed it.
And I list them.
Bye,
Bye,
listeners.
Bye,
listeners.
everyone.